Hey there, comic friends! I'm Travis, and it's time for the Comic Book Roundtable. And we've got a pretty full table tonight. How's it going, everybody?
Pretty good.
Doing good.
So, quick introduction, seems how we've got not new faces, but faces that haven't been around in a while. Clear down to one end, we've got Comics to Comics.
How's it going, everyone?
Yeah. And then we have Luke from Luke Reviews Comics.
Howdy.
Reviews Batman. Whoa, wow, or something. I haven't screwed that up in a long time, man. And then we have Wednesday Serial Matt A.
Hello, Internet.
So you gotta like Matt. He's got a catchphrase. So, and then we have Sergeant America, Mike.
Catchphrase.
Right on. So we've got lots of fun stuff to talk about tonight. We're gonna start with DC because I figure that if not the books, the announcements are going to keep us busy for a little bit talking about that, I would guess. So let's just talk DC Comics. What do we want to talk about DC-wise? I got 3 DC books this week.
Let's see. Do you want to say goodbye to Gleason on Robinson of Batman?
Yeah. See. Okay. Sure. This is the last issue with him on it, right?
Yep. Last one.
Yeah.
And
Matt?
who else got it?
We all got the regular cover. Did you get the Neil Adams cover?
I had it in my hand, but this was like 1 week I can actually kind of save some money, so I was like,
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
It looked beautiful.
So what do we think?
I think it was okay. Maybe it'd been a little bit more better if it was released a little bit earlier. You know, it seemed like if you're trying to put this in a timeline, this event kind of happened a long
The
time
last issue, the Ray Fox issue, bumped this one.
Yeah.
And this one should have been last month.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying that because of the whole thing that's going on in Batman, right?
Yeah.
Him losing his beard.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And obviously, yeah. I mean, Batman's not realizing. Yeah. I mean, he's still kind of. Bruce is out of it now. You know where he's at, but.
Right.
And then if you really want to be picky, I mean, Robin's been back in Gotham for quite a little bit too. With Robinson and Batman, but that's just being picky with timeline stuff.
Oh, with the We Are Robin stuff, right?
Yeah, We Are Robin and the Robin War. He's been back.
Yeah,
So,
that's right.
But I will say the cover, loved it. I mean, it's such a nice throwback because this is obviously from the 4th volume of Batman and Robin, the White Knight versus the Dark Knight.
Right.
Which is actually the beginning of Gleason on the title of Batman and Robin. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Matt, what'd you think?
I had a probably way different opinion because I don't actually get this book. This was somehow thrown into my pull list by accident, so this is the first issue of this I've read.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Their title. And so knowing that it's the last of Gleason now, I feel a little softer on it, but I was just kind of lost because I didn't know where we were starting except for the Damian dealing with Batman not knowing who he was. But
right.
That's not spoilers for anyone, is it? I can't imagine at this point.
No.
Because like you said, that was late. Like, this is dealing with stuff that's half a year behind? Is that right? Somewhere around there. So that just kind of threw me off. I was like, he's just now dealing with this? I thought something was missing, or like he was off-world, or I was trying to figure out.
Well, he kind of has been. I mean, he took off to do some other stuff. Knowing what's going on with his dad, he was doing his own kind of a thing, is what's been happening in the Robin, Son of Batman. He's been off gallivanting around the world, fixing things that he broke when he was an assassin, basically.
Okay, that's cool. He's just running around with all this, and I don't want to say the end of the issue, but it just kind of felt like it was just leading into the next issue, and here we go. You know, it wasn't some grand finale by any means or anything. So,
right. For me, I love the first 2 or 3 pages. That's the kind of Gleason magic where there's no words. It's just basically him seeing what looks like his dad with a whole other family, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the fiance, girlfriend's there. He's got a kid and all that stuff. So I like that part of it quite a bit. I do think it's fun when Gleason brings back that whole group of head cases, that group of villains that are all, basically Batman rejects. They're all people who've been damaged in the wake of Batman and Robin doing something. I think they're kind of funny, those villains, just because they are such head cases. But the way the same thing ended, it's like, okay, I have to agree. It's kind of like, whatever. Now suddenly they're going to stick around, and it almost, knowing what's coming, it feels like it's a rushed. Let's get to here, and now we're gonna dump a bunch of Ray Fox filler issues of him just running around, Gotham beating people up, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even want to. Is this even going to continue?
After Rebirth?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Closest thing I can see to it is the son of Batman, son of Superman, whatever that's called. We'll talk about that when we get to it. But no, I think this is I think this is one of many books that's gone. So.
But there was one thing in here too. I did kind of like how he had like all the little nods to all the animals, in Damien's story. Titus, obviously,
Right.
Pennyworth. If you read, obviously, the Andy Kubert book, and
Right.
of course, Batcow. You need to have Batcow if you're gonna have a Damien.
Yeah.
You have Batcow, but then the art I thought was good. It had a couple moments where Gleason does this thing with eyes, but yeah, I also like too that one panel where Goliath is using his sonic wave. It just kind of distorted. It was good. It's this, it's I don't know.
Well, for me, like I said, it had moments in it that were great. Those first couple, panels, couple pages worth of that was all real touching. That was I think some of that Gleason stuff we really liked that we've seen off and on through like Batman and Robin and whatnot. And then it just kind of rode out and was a comic filling space.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling I'm gonna get the rest of the issues until it ends, I figure. But I think it's gonna be kind of more of that. There might be some fun issues of him doing something ridiculous, but I still think it's gonna be kind of filling space.
Yeah.
So, is this the final issue then?
No. There's solicits, but it's instead of Gleason drawing it and writing the book, Ray Fox is going to be writing, and somebody else is on art. Last issue they did an issue too. They just kind of all of a sudden he showed up, wasn't part of the solicitations, but.
Huh.
And I know from looking at future solicitations of books I've ordered over the next couple of months, that's what it's going to be.
Huh. Okay.
I'm hoping that means that Gleason's off of this to get ramped up on whatever's coming next. I'd love to see Gleason on like the Teen Titans. Maybe not writing it, but at least doing the art.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It was okay because I like the beginning of it.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk Poison Ivy briefly?
Sure.
Talk about Poison Ivy.
So this is Poison Ivy's Cycle of Life and Death, issue number 2. Just as a side note, the artist on this, the penciler, C. Man, what's his full name? I can't remember his full name. He just signed an exclusive with DC.
Okay.
So I don't know how excited I am about that because issue number 1, I picked on some artwork in it. I thought the page layout was really weird. The way Harley was kind of twisted all over the place on the page didn't make a lot of sense to me. Clay Man is the guy's name.
Clay Man.
And in this issue, there's actually one page that I read the panels out of order because I didn't think the page layout was right on it.
Is that the 2-page splash you were talking about?
No, for me it was this page. It was this page where she goes and visits the guy with the dogs.
Oh.
And it does him in because you're reading a lot. You read this panel. You read these panels here, and these 2 panels are thoughts, right? Thought bubble, basically. And then there's this right here, which I'm not sure I'm supposed to read it at. You got this panel here. I read it, and then I bounced over here, read that, and then I went back to here and went, what the hell? Oh, I should have read this, this, and this. And, maybe that's just me, but I do have, 30-plus years of reading comics, and a simple page layout like this shouldn't confuse me. But the way these, so I don't know if it's his layout or it was the thought bubble, something threw me off. And I read it and I had to stop at that page and look at it for a moment and go, oh, okay.
All right.
I don't know. It just feels to like 2 comics now I've run into of his where I have had a page where I've had to sit there and scratch my head about.
I was going to say generally that I did like the art until you mentioned that the guy I thought was an old lady, so that when, the owner of these 2 dogs that come busting out of the fence, she wraps in vines and somehow that calms the dogs down.
Uh-huh.
And I don't understand if I'm supposed to get that there was a pheromone, a drug, whatever. If it's just about like wounding the dogs, that's just as bad as what the owner did. She just squeezed them until they submitted. And then she gets in there, and I mean, we see the dogs are chained up, and there's scratches on their face. But I mean, you have to infer a whole bunch because all of a sudden, she's like, "Are you the owner?" And they're like, "What did the stupid dogs do?" And she punches a hole through the person's head out their mouth with the vine.
Yeah.
So I mean, it just seemed like very harsh punishment that she had to infer all of that too. So that was the one thing that just caught me slightly off guard. I mean, she is a villain, but
she doesn't give a crap about people. That's pretty clear.
So with Clay Man, does Mega Man ever show up and absorb his powers and then?
Hasn't happened yet.
Oh, okay.
I mean, but I do like some of the other shots. Like, I mean, I actually like this. If this is the double page spread you're talking about, I actually like this. I love this. I sound like a pervert, but this warm angle look up. I mean, I like that because we're supposed to be looking up at this giant plant that's above her. I don't know. I like the way that looks.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I can see depending you read it across like this. This is happening someplace else, and then there's this guy's panels. Yeah, it is a little weird, isn't it?
Yeah. Plus that center one, how he's like falling, it kind of threw me off as in how he's falling. You know what I mean?
Right, because he's like stepping over. He's stepping out of the page. He's stepping out of the page, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't be smart with the panels if you don't know how to be smart with the panels, I guess is what we're saying, right? I don't know.
How do you feel the murder mystery in it is going? Because isn't that what this whole book now is? Then it's a murder mystery.
Well, it's that, and it's about that, and it's also about her. She has babies now.
Yes. Yeah. At the end. Yeah.
Babies that are just like her.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Plant-based
humanoids. Yeah.
Are they sexy?
Not yet.
Okay.
Did anyone else notice this one panel here? And it just I don't know, it just kind of made me chuckle a little bit. When she's walking away and her butt has like that weird inking job on her one butt cheek. Looks like a handprint.
Yeah, it's highlighted.
Yeah. A handprint or a footprint or something. I was like, that's odd.
Yeah.
Not that I'm a pervert for zeroing in on that.
Sure.
No, that was zeroed in for you. You just
right.
at the
They
page.
highlighted it. So.
Yeah.
This is okay. I mean, I'm not Harley. I'm a Poison Ivy fan, but I don't know if this is doing anything for her. It almost feels like it's as much. Let's make the Ivy League on Twitter. I don't know how much influence they have outside of Twitter, but they seem to be all over Twitter. Let's make some of those people happy by putting something out. It's just not quite up to the caliber I think it needs to be to really do it justice.
Mm-hmm. Do you think this is something obviously kind of, again, not putting too much emphasis on continuity, this is something like early on in the days of Poison Ivy, not to me. Because now we got the thing with, because you got the thing with Harley Quinn.
Right. I don't think so. I think it's later.
Know.
Because she strikes me as way more mature in this than she has been in the 52.
Yeah, well,
in the 52, she was kind of a hothead, younger, brasher kind of a person. Here she's not. Here she's trying to just be a scientist and do her thing, and the one human that she thought was okay gets dusted. So.
I mean, because there's a lot of people that don't know she's Poison Ivy. Because I thought that's pretty much out in the open, right?
But she wears the glasses, though.
Oh, that's what throws everybody off. They don't know.
Yeah.
I would never
Lies.
recognize you without your glasses. You could be a superhero.
Yeah. Good point. Does she really wear the glasses all the time?
As Ivy,
Oh, she does, doesn't she?
yeah.
That's how observant I am.
But with Superman, there's an explanation for it, isn't there? Like he changes the muscles in his face or something like that when he's Clark. I had read that somewhere one time.
I have no idea. I've never heard that. I just assume that Clark does enough of the dumb, trip over himself, accident-prone idiot that the glasses just help create that. I don't know.
Well, so I feel like it's a different thing, because the only explanation I heard for the Clark Superman thing that ever sold me on it was when Supergirl and them are walking up in the Superman Batman comic on the Superman statue, and she says, that's why they can't figure out who you really are, because they never look for you among them, the whole idea of them looking at Superman at some level.
Yeah.
Which, that, emotionally resonated with me. That makes sense on a level. You're like, okay. But Poison Ivy... They're looking for her constantly. She's on wanted posters.
Right. She's a terrorist. I mean, she's not just a villain. I mean,
criminal. Let's keep it.
No, they called her eco-terrorist.
Eco-terrorist,
Oh.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess that would make sense.
I mean, because in the Birds of Prey, towards the end of Birds of Prey, she you put something out that's gonna kill bajillion people, kind of thing.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So it's darn polluting people.
So, I mean, I guess I want more. I want more out of the book, I guess.
Are they playing up her Green Party politics, or are they just
No.
kind of
No.
No.
No, she's trying to be. She's using the lab. She's trying to be a scientist she's genetically engineering these plants to give birth to new plant people, so she can surround herself with more of her own kind and get rid of the stinky meat people.
That's
Because she doesn't like the stinky meat people.
Yeah.
Except
That's
for
not
Harley.
super interesting.
She likes Harley.
If the problem is, it just doesn't focus enough anywhere to really be enough of any one of those things. I mean, go one of those directions, but really go there, and they're not. Is what it feels to me like. There's no real commitment to anything. So, anyway, what else want to talk about these ones? CDC, did you read any DC books this week?
Yeah, I did. Martian Manhunter. And yes, I got the Neil Adams cover. And it wasn't a big waste of money. Guy in comments, it's kind of an ass. I enjoy it very much.
I haven't gotten anything yet. Which one is that? So
That's Ra's al Ghul's first appearance. And I would buy it again.
Nice. Okay, cool. Right on.
Did that cost extra?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think they did.
So why not?
Yeah.
So, Martian Manhunter, or Martian Mech Hunter, as it says there on the bottom of mine.
It was like a mech issue. I kind of liked it, even though it was different, but this comic book's been different from the get-go.
Right.
I don't know what else to say about this issue. I enjoyed it. I've been enjoying this comic as a whole.
Yeah, a lot less happens in this one, right, than has happened in some of the other ones. I mean, there's the action, everything's moving to the next point, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
This one didn't have, for me, I guess it didn't have moments in it where I was like, what, or it was kind of that surprise thrill kind of a thing that feels like a lot of the Martian Manhunters had in it. But like I said, I'm still really enjoying the book. I think it's been a lot of fun. I think this issue is just moving us to the next, whatever the next fun thing is.
I haven't been reading Constantine. Is it any good?
I've been liking it. Matt's giving ugly faces, so.
I haven't been reading it. I don't know.
It's not Hellblazer.
Yeah.
It's Constantine the Hellblazer.
Right. It's its own thing, and I think I've been liking it. I think it's been fun. So, so it was odd having him in this, though. That was really kind of strange.
I didn't know what. Did it seem like I was like, oh, is this going to be a crossover? Do I have to go buy that to find out that there's something connected? And then no.
Well, I was thinking it's like 3 pages, so they can get so they can get a funny line out of Mr. Biscuits when he says, "Oh no, I'm envisioning a naked guy running down the street in a slicker or whatever he was wearing, in a Mac." It was like 3 pages just to get that joke, in. That's
Yeah,
almost
pretty
what it
much.
felt like.
I almost feel like down the road we're just gonna get a Mr. Biscuits comic.
I'm all for that.
It just seems like that's what this has been. It's just a lineup for that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would probably have been happy if they would have just started out with that. And,
Right.
I mean, is this selling well?
I think it's selling okay.
Because
Not-
when they
not
were
the top
announcing all
rating.
those, well, it was on Bleeding Cool, so it's bullshit. But when they were
Oh,
announcing
well,
all those
didn't know
canceled books that were coming up, I didn't see this one in the list, was it?
I don't know. I refuse to go to Bleeding Cool, so I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
I see there's a lot of names on there. Is there a reason why there's so many people in that book?
Yeah, because it's got a couple pencilers and about 4 inkers.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
The art is not terrible.
No, I mean, well, Burroughs I think does an awesome job of art. The people that were helping him all mimicked his style close enough that it didn't feel
Yeah.
it doesn't feel awkward. It doesn't feel like there's a ton of people doing it. And there's one colorist across the whole thing that helps a lot too.
And this really lends me to think, like, I'm glad this isn't tied into anything else. This isn't
Right.
a part of it, and that's when you get good writing. I think, I don't know if he's in any team books right now. I don't think he is. He's not in Justice League, but that idea that it's off on its own, letting the creator do their own thing, you're going to get a better book out of it.
Yeah. I definitely agree. Like I said, I've been really enjoying it. I mean, this issue wasn't anything special. I think they could have done more with the Pearl thing that's in this.
Yeah.
Where she's thought she's a human all this time. She finds out she's a Martian, so now she looks like a green Martian and whatnot, and she's basically having a crisis over that.
How would you pronounce the villain's name? The
Red
Martian?
guy.
Yeah.
That's how I pronounce his name.
Yeah.
The Red Martian. That's
I could not. I've been trying to, because recently I got corrected that it's not Tinian. Did you know this?
what
It's
is it?
Tynan. It's Tynan. Has anyone else heard this?
Tynan.
Yes.
Says who?
It says DC Comics. I was watching their YouTube channel, and the lady pronounced it as Tynan.
Are you sure she's right?
I can't imagine they would. That'd be great though, and they put it on their official YouTube channel
I'm trying to remember. I've been at cons where he's been announced.
as Tinian.
I don't remember. Why would I
Now-
still be calling him that?
Now I gotta tweet that out to you, just so you can see it, because that'd be great if they fucked it up.
Yeah. I don't. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
well, whatever his name is. I mean, so.
But it's like
the fourth.
Berserk.
Yeah, I don't know what this. Yeah, this guy. Yeah. So it makes John's name seem pretty easy. That's for sure. So
Yeah.
yeah. Like I said, I'm still enjoying the book. I'm looking forward to what. I mean, I'm assuming it's going to come to an end. I'm guessing this whole thing that's happening with Mars, the old Mars, being crashing into Earth. This is going to get fixed clearly somehow, and then that's going to be the end of the book because I figure that's going to run us into June with all that and whatnot.
And I got that pulled aside so we can go month by month on it when we get to it. It's ought to be fun.
Yeah, right on. I'm glancing over the comments and yeah, it's gonna be one of those kind of nights, huh, DaCosta?
You think you made fun of me already?
Oh, he's making fun of everybody. That's John. It's okay.
I'm just joking.
So I know somebody had to have read the Batman and Robin Eternal.
Oh,
Eternal?
this would have pissed you off, Travis, so bad.
So it was just Drake solving everything, huh?
Yeah.
Because he's the second best detective in the world.
And
Negative.
Damien
The
finally
best.
showed up.
Well, with Batman out of the picture, that makes him the best detective in the world.
A bit worse.
Well, let's go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and talk why this would piss you off so much, because I know you like the Grayson book, and I know you don't like it going back to Nightwing.
We get Nightwing back in this?
Yes,
Wow.
and I guess how that whole transition would occur, which even I was kind of like, ugh. I don't know,
Occurred.
CDC, did you
Not occurred.
occur? That's right.
Occurred.
Yeah.
He's already Nightwing in this.
That's out of continuity. Nobody reads that book. Come on.
He was Grayson not too long ago in this. Now he's Nightwing.
Now, I remember us having a conversation about it was. I don't know. It's been a while, but I remember talking like it was like a snide comment too, like how is he gonna come back to Nightwing? Everyone knows it's Nightwing. He's gonna just erase his memory or something like that.
Right.
That's pretty much what it looks like it's gonna be.
Really?
Yes. Spiral has this satellite that's up in the sky. Spoiler if you know, whatever. Up in the sky that basically was there,
Brother
put in
Eye,
place, so Grayson can go back to Nightwing and Bertinelli can go back to it and wipe out everyone's memories of them being Nightwing and whoever. So.
And should we get into why that's horrendous writing? Can we just get into that right from the get-go?
Go ahead. 'Cause this is.
They could have done that from
And
day
I was
one.
like,
They could have done that from day one. They could have
No.
done that from day one. Yes, they could have. They could have done that right away. That's so ex machina. We could just erase the whole thing right from the
But,
get-go.
but Spiral wouldn't want to do that, right? Because to start out with, Spiral was run by...
No. True, but that's why Bertinelli has it up there. It's specifically, she said it's specifically for you to go back.
No, what they
What?
should have done is
It is. I mean, it's designed solely for Grayson.
For Grayson to go back.
Oh my gosh!
It's the Wayback Time Machine.
But they
Yes.
should have just had him wear a different color because they're gonna know that. So I get they're all erasing memories, but they should just had him adopt a new persona or something like that for a bit, and then with the reboot, if they really want Nightwing back. But I think with this, they should have played into it a little bit more. That he feels the itch to be a superhero again. I'm now Wing Knight or something. No, something better. But
Wing
you know what I mean?
Wingnut.
If they can't buy Clark, I mean, come on, they can't figure him out. They won't figure out Wing Knight. This is what I've learned about the DC universe.
Wait,
The
who wrote this
Citizenry is
issue?
Stupid.
Seeley. Tim Seeley did.
Wow. Who put a gun to his head?
Tiny and
Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not. I know. I'm glad I'm not reading that book.
But that
It
said,
sounded great.
the rest
it
of
sounded
it.
great, but that would have made me so mad. I would have been driving home from my fictional local comic book store, throwing them out the window as I was driving along.
Well, I mean, if you kind of look at it, I mean, like I said, I mean, the writing's on the wall. I mean, it's gonna happen. So I mean, I really don't blame
Yeah,
it
but
much on this issue because the rest of the issue actually wasn't bad. It really wasn't. The whole cannibal from Grayson, she shows up here, teams up with Orphan. It's actually a pretty decent issue. You just gotta get back that holy shit slap in the face. That is the dumbest way to bring back Nightwing.
And I was wondering when Damian was going to show up. I was okay. And so I was like, okay, it's about time he showed up.
Yeah, and it shows up with this classic Damian. He just goes, you know, you're basically, you're dicking everything up, dude. The real Robin's here, you know.
That still bugs me. He's not the real Robin.
For me, it would always be Dick Grayson, but...
No.
Who financed that satellite?
The Men in Black. Let's just call it what it is.
This is horrible. That is so bad.
It's terrible.
That is so bad.
Yeah.
They should have just waited. They should have waited until the rebirth, and when they started the books over again, he was just Nightwing with no explanation. That would have been better.
I guess I didn't word it correctly. What I mean is erase everyone's memory. They could have done that at any time. That's really cheap cop-out, in my opinion.
It is. No, 100%. 100%.
That's
why drag him out as Agent 37 for as long as they did?
Yeah. If that technology existed, why wouldn't they be like, all right, go do the Batman thing that Batman
they were still building it
for? Oh my god. All right.
So in the Grayson books, are we going to have him as Agent 37 for the last few issues?
See, I don't know. I mean, because you read Robin.
I saw sample pages of the next issue, and he's going up against like Frank from
I think
Leagues of Shades. He's going up against everybody, but he's still Agent 37.
Yeah, because I don't know how you would, because basically he's trying to take down Spiral right now. In his book. Book, he's working with Spiral. So I don't know. But then so you take what happened at the end of Robin.
So is this setting up Bertinelli to go back to being Huntress then too? Or to
That's
actually
fine.
be Huntress?
That's what I inferred.
I hope so.
In this book,
At
now what
least,
happens in Grayson's
of course,
book?
we're not going to see her. Well, maybe she's in Birds of. Anyway, okay.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yes, you're right.
We'll get
I would have been really ugly about that book if I had the one that I read it and I'm talking about it here. So
Character, I think you'd been pissed about that, to be honest, because that's just such a cheap
yeah.
cop out.
it's so lazy. That's so lazy. I mean, you're right. That is just boo.
Like if we were sitting in a room and it was due the next day, we could have came up with a better idea. You know, let's just erase everyone's memory. All right, lunch. See ya.
Yeah.
I mean,
It was a clone.
yeah. It was a clone. Oh, I don't know if anyone saw that movie.
But in all seriousness, I mean, seriously, we're poking fun at that. I still think it's a good story. I enjoyed reading it. It was good.
As a fan
That
of
one,
the
that was-
Robins, Eternal's been great.
Yeah.
It's been great for that.
Sounds like it. So what? We got 2-3 issues left.
By
think
4 or
it's-
5.
Yeah, I think
Really?
it goes up with 26, right? So yeah,
So we got another month basically. Cool.
Mhm.
Huh.
Okay, so any other DC books?
Can I talk Harley Quinn real quick?
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
This was really, really good. Really good. Basically, she goes back to Arkham and she runs into the Joker. Now, this could have gone basically two ways. They could have gone to the whole, Joker, I'm falling back in love with you, go back into the Joker trance thing, or could have done something where she basically, lays a smackdown on Joker. That's pretty much what does happen. It was actually they didn't take the easy way out on it and actually did something cool with Harley and really trying to pull that separation between her and Joker, which they've been really harping on, this whole entire series. That was my kind of concern going into this, is whether or not this was kind of make her take a little bit of a step back, but it didn't. There is a cameo appearance by Batman in here, basically, because she teams up with Poison Ivy in this, and to get her boyfriend out of Arkham, they need a boat to escape them from Arkham to get her back where she's at, and Poison Ivy just happens to steal the Bat boat. Batman's all pissed off, you stole my Bat boat type thing. But it was a really good story. I mean, the fight between her and Joker, it was really good. The dialogue between the two, and of course, you can't go through a whole entire Harley issue without seeing some really gratuitous, undermining sexual innuendo panels in here, like when she's dressing in front of Isley, and of course one scene where her shirt's totally wide open, and Isley's face just happens to be like right between her.
Wait, Austin Powers it.
Yeah. And she's saying like, "Yo, you want to feel me?" You're like, "Oh my lord!" So, but all in all, this was a really good. Harley's one of those ones where it's like you take it in doses and you get in and you chuckle, ha ha ha. This one actually had a little bit more meaning to it. I think really trying to really separate the Harley Joker thing is trying to kind of really hit home in that. And I thought this is really good. And Joker's on point too.
So who did the art on that issue?
It's Harden.
Is it Harden? Okay.
Yeah, Chad Harden.
Because that's another artist that got an exclusive with DC is not Harden, but the other guy who does the art for Little Black Book and occasionally art on that, is my understanding.
Oh, okay.
So
So are they signing a bunch of artists exclusively too? Or because I saw who else were they?
King. We'll talk about King. He got an exclusive.
Right.
I was just shocked because DC hasn't been doing exclusives, with the exception of Snyder and Capullo for a while. They really weren't doing exclusives anymore. So Christina is telling me John Timms, that's who it is the one that got the exclusive. So not anybody I'm familiar with. I just know that I just saw that name, knew that was the other artist that they were saying that. Of course, what they're doing going forward, I have no idea. What books they're doing or whatever. I have no clue. So cool. Go ahead, Matt.
Did anyone else read Secret Six at all?
Hell no.
Well, Travis, you missed some plot points.
Oh, of course I did.
I don't know. This whole Return to Secret Six has felt like you can't go back home again. Like,
Yeah.
Yep.
it's just.
You can't recapture the magic in a bottle. It doesn't work.
Well, then the characters she's picked and the way they're being used, it just feels like.
Exactly.
It just feels off. I don't know. It's not the same. Also, her trying to write this new Batgirl doesn't work. And I gotta say, if Gail Simone can't write that Batgirl, it's not Batgirl. Like,
No one can write that Batgirl because it's.
it's just.
Yeah, I don't. Whatever. Yeah.
I'm gonna write it out at this point because there's only how many left, but.
Too many.
This is supposed to concentrate on the female Court of Owls assassin. And
Strix.
Yeah, Strix. Yeah, that's the big showdown next, is Shiva and Shix.
Yeah.
That came out wrong. But yeah, so that's where it's going, I guess. Hopefully that will be fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
because I flipped through it, always hoping that magic was going to be there, and just, I put it back on the shelf. So
Probably right to do so.
I'm so happy that I got that off my pole.
But this next one is actually my favorite DC comic going right now, which kind of blew me away. Is anyone else picking up American Alien?
No. I thought you were going to do
I wish-
Omega Man, but alright.
I wish I was. I love
Yeah.
that cover.
Yeah, this has been fun, and like each issue is kind of its own deal, so it's kind of interesting to get Clark at different phases of life. This is him trying to come up as a journalist, and he gets to interview Oliver Queen and Lex Luthor, and it's just kind of interesting to see this different phase, but it's leading to something I'm not sure I'm comfortable with, where the idea that Batman was already around and he influenced Clark to how he became Superman, which I'm not sure if that's actually what they're going to do.
Yeah.
That's going to become canon, you watch.
Wow.
Yeah. It's
You're the one that talked me out of picking that up. You're like, Max Landis, don't touch it. I swear it was you.
No,
Was
it probably was, because the last issue of comics he did before this American Alien thing was the worst. It was real bad. But I had so many friends and people wrote me into it that I had to give it a shot, and it was really worth it.
Do you think I should go
What's
pick
that?
them up?
I think they're worth reading. I mean, issue by issue, they're fun. So 4 issues in, I've had 4 good comics. I don't know.
Cool. I'll try
Was
and
that
track
issue?
them down.
Was that issue done by Jacques? Was that the one done by Jacques?
No, this one was done by Lee someone. Let's see. Yeah, no, Jock. Not this one. Jay Lee.
Jay
Is
Lee.
this-
Oh, Jay Lee. Oh.
Yeah. And the issue before that was Joey Jones, so.
Yeah, different artist each issue, so if you don't like it, try the next one. Sort of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I'm thinking about going back and hunting them down. I'm not really a Superman fan, but they've sounded fun. So, and that's
It's
kind of
the
how I was when I first heard about it. And I heard Max Landis. I was like, I'm kind of really hot and cold on him. I did not hear good things about the thing he did before this, like you were talking, Matt. So I decided I wouldn't pick it up. But then I've heard people really like it. So.
I think that video of mine that I did on that comic got enough traction that it might have cost sales for that book. Wow.
Oh.
Well, let's not speculate.
Yes. Any other DC books we want to talk about?
Not that I want to talk about.
Are you ready for a
Ooh.
drive-by?
Sure.
I'm ready.
Wonder Woman 49. It was okay. Next book.
Okay.
was that the last one you read, Luke?
Yeah. It was.
All right.
Yeah,
That
because
one-
I know I'm the only one who reads it, so I was just like, get it up.
Yeah.
That
Otherwise,
was-
it would just be 5 minutes of us talking about how much we hated Finch's
Yep.
Wonder Woman art. And,
Yep.
And yeah, so no need for that. And their faces are all the same. And shut up now. Yeah. Right on. Okay, so that's it. That's all the books we want to talk about DC wise.
Let me get this open.
Okay. Let's talk DC news. Let's talk little stuff first. Of course, like I talked about 2 people who've gotten exclusive. Tom King, the writer Tom King, is also signed an exclusive. He's writing things like Omega Man. He's helping write Grayson, or has up until this point. let's see, he's writing Sheriff of
Vision?
Babylon for Vertigo. Right, he's writing the Vision. Of course, when we first heard about this exclusive, it was like, oh no, what's going to happen to that book? Because some of us really love that book. I really love that book. That's like my favorite Marvel book that's rolling right
Thanks
now.
for letting me know about it, by the way.
No, that was you guys telling me, and I appreciate it. I mean, I've already made videos saying I thanked you. Jeez.
No, it's just so many people have came to me like, "Are you reading Vision? You should check it out." It's
Oh,
driving
that's
me nuts.
Yeah.
I was
No,
on that from day one, son.
It's awesome. But the good news is, he tweeted and said, "No, I've been given permission to finish the 12-issue run that he had planned to do on the Vision. So we will get that." So, shoo! I mean, I'm super excited that DC is finally pulling the trigger on somebody who's new in comics that seems to be doing something different. That they pulled the trigger on getting him and making sure he stays with DC. So I just hope they give him the room to do what he wants to do now. I mean, that's part of what I think is going to make him good, is letting him kind of
And
tell
he's
his own
sure
story.
there's going to be 12 issues of Vision.
Yeah,
Like,
now we know for
That's
sure.
cool.
With it. Yeah,
I'm fine with that.
yeah. So am I. So I think that's pretty cool. That's pretty exciting stuff. Let's see what else. Are there any other DC news besides the whole Rebirth thing that we'll jump into?
Do you guys hear the controversy about the Wonder Woman cover?
No.
I avoid those websites, but go ahead.
What's that?
So, it's going to be kind of hard to go about without the actual image on hand, but with those Neil Adams covers, there's a Wonder Woman issue that's taking an old Superman cover swipe of his, where it's going to have it so Superman's making out with Wonder Woman, but if you look at the camera, you just see the backside of Wonder Woman. And people are saying because it's focusing on Wonder Woman's butt, that's wrong, even though they're really just complaining about an angle from which it was drawn, because it's just Wonder Woman.
Is she in her newest costume that's like that weird, like...
No,
crappy-
it's her classic, blue
Oh,
and
okay.
white Starru bottoms and red top.
Let's see. So is that this month?
Whenever the Neil Adams...
That's
cover
now,
is-
right? Because that was right now.
Yeah, I think so.
Find it.
I don't know. That's not exactly... here it is. Of course, 404 not found when I click it. Great. Oh my gosh.
I had no idea about this. Oh, okay, I can see it. Let's see here. It's her facing the front here, like her backside.
Yeah.
I can't
Okay.
find it to screen.
Yeah, Wonder Woman 49.
Oh, is it fine? Okay.
Yeah.
I only found like a sketch of it.
Yeah, I don't know. But that
I
was the
hate
other
that.
DC news I heard this week that threw me through a loop because I was trying to figure out why people were offended this week.
But that's
Oh my lord. You serious?
Oh, let me see if I can get a picture of it that is not
of her naked. Jeez, what side are you on?
the good ones.
Oh,
There.
No, I'm just trying to find one where it's.
Luke, go ahead and talk. So we
Yeah.
can see that.
No. That's it. That's I don't know.
so what's
No.
the offense?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Women don't have butts.
Oh,
They gave her a butt.
But here's the question: if that's the case, where was people complaining about her costume and what she wears this whole entire time prior to when Finches changed the costume?
Well, people
No,
have
no. Here's where I pressed some people on it. Here is the hilarious part. I pressed them on and said they're basically just complaining about an angle from which it's drawn, especially considering it's a cover swipe, and it used to be some woman in a green onesie was the cover swipe was from. And they said the problem was that this is for Wonder Woman's comic, and she's not in a position of power, but if this was for Superman's comic, it would be okay.
well, no, I do have a problem with it. I'm not gonna lie. It's the fact that she's kissing Superman, and she's way better than Superman. Let's just call it what it is. There's a controversy there for me.
Yeah.
Well, there's this whole comic that's really going to piss you off.
Yeah, I haven't touched that. Soul was on that, and I didn't touch that. So
That's a good reason not to touch a comic.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Whatever. I don't. I guess I don't see anything there. I mean, that's pretty well
So are we boycotting it? Should
standard
Oh, yeah.
standard comics.
we? I will.
To be on the moral side of things, we have to boycott it.
I will.
Yeah,
will.
that's not an issue for me. Yeah, I've been boycotting since it ended at issue. What was that? 36 or something.
30, yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
The
Yeah.
Finch number.
yeah,
Hey.
basically.
Drive by.
Yeah. Kissing babies and taking names.
Oh boy, I waited to look at this until I got on here, so I'm just looking at some of the comics that are coming out in this rebirth.
Okay,
Nope.
so we want to jump into that now?
No Doom Patrol still, huh?
Yeah, whatever. That's one of the things that burns me. Okay, so let's talk Rebirth. They announced Rebirth. They give us an idea. We get this big, long ramble from Jeff Johns about how comics are awesome, DC's awesome, but it's missing some little piece of magic, and he's found it. They're going to use Rebirth, which to him means this great thing because, of course, he did the Rebirth of Green Lantern and the Rebirth of Flash. So if they're going to use that name, they're going to use that word, it's got to be special like that. So
Notice they didn't bring up Guy Gardner Rebirth, which didn't
Damn.
do so well.
So here we got this the Rebirth. We at least get an idea of what it's going to look like. We don't know creator-wise for anything at all. Lots of rumor. It's this, that, until I see DC announced it someplace. So we can say Snyder's on Detective or King's on Batman all we want to. The reality is we don't know that he's on. Those people are on any of that stuff until we actually see it. So, I mean, whatever. So they're gonna put out a bunch of one-shot specials starting in June of some of the books that are gonna be coming out. They're giving them the Aquaman Rebirth, Batman Rebirth, that sort of thing, and then the regular comics will come out that month also. The nice thing is, I guess, they're going to roll in a few at a time. It's not like the New 52 where they literally shut the whole thing down and then started it all but once. So if you were a small, unheard of title, you were screwed from the beginning because you're competing with, the Justice League and Batman, Superman. Mr. Terrific's never going to make it under those kind of conditions, kind of thing, or the Resurrection Mans and that sort of stuff just aren't going to cut it. So I guess for me, that's at least a positive that the stuff's not all rolling out at once. The one thing they did say is every book's going to be $2.99.
Yeah.
So I guess, quit your bitching about the cost of a book. They've frozen it back. I mean, that's a 5 year ago price.
Yeah.
And Marvel now runs all their books at $3.99, and half the time they're $4.99 as far as the direct competition goes. So
And that 80 page special too is also going to be $2.99.
right,
Yeah.
the first thing they do is they're going to put out a book that's basically called Rebirth. It's 80 pages, still for that $2.99. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I remember I tweeted it because I just happened to pick up this book off the dollar wall, and I was like, maybe Rebirth will be this.
I love
was
that
glad to
issue, by
see
the
that.
way.
Oh yeah.
That 3-run.
Oh yeah.
Right there. It's
yeah.
fun. But so yeah, I mean, so what do we want to talk about? Pros, cons? Are there any pros?
There's pros. I think what's interesting is looking down the list and what books they're going with, though.
So there
'cause I
are
think that-
17. There are 17 twice-a-month publications and 13 once-a-month publications. That blew my mind because we all kind of knew there were some that were coming. I was guessing 1 or 2 twice-a-month books, not
majority.
60% of the line.
Yeah.
But I wonder, with all the work they've done with these weekly ones that Luke has been picking up, maybe they finally figured out the formula to do it twice a month.
Well, here's the thing. I think the writer can do it. We know the artist can't.
Yeah.
So one of the first things that comes to mind for me is you're not going to get just as a current example, you're not going to get a Capullo run on Batman ever again. We won't have. You'll have. if we should be focusing back on artists and artists being an important part of the comic book, and I think it's crazy not to think that they aren't an important part of the comic book, we're going to get even more writer focused, I think, because that's going to be the only consistent book, right?
Well, maybe. It depends how far out they're doing this and how big the arcs are. Because if they move to 4-issue arcs, which has been a trend I've seen, and I don't know if that's going to continue or not, obviously, but to say that they could plan out far enough ahead that a writer-artist duo, or however you want to look at that, gets to do 4 issues, and then they maybe rotate or something.
Right, and that sounds great. Other than all it would take is one stomach flu, and you'd be screwed, right? I mean, you'd have to be right. Wouldn't you think, Matt? We're talking like 12, 15, 24 comics in the can.
They can't be planning this without having filler issues in there waiting to go. Unless they're planning on having interruptions, you're right. Like, it seems untenable. I don't know, 2 issues a month for that many? Yeah, once summit. You're right.
Are you just putting whoever on art? You just, I don't know if you make a decision to go, okay, you 4 artists all draw kind of the same way. Get a style that's somewhat looks the same, like our Martian Manhunter book that's got 3 pencilists and 6 inkers on it, and get them to all kind of be the same.
Or maybe that's it right there. Maybe it's not one artist not doing one issue. It's a combined effort where 2 or 3 are sharing issue. I mean, they all have a piece of a pie in one issue.
But all it takes is one person to drop the ball, and it looks incohesive. What I'm saying, I just think it's unfortunate. You're not going to get DC's not going to have these runs of 12, 20 issue run of so and so doing the art.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see how. I don't know. I don't see how that's going to work. I guess.
Could you see them doing like a Black Mirror type thing?
Oh, that.
I think that'd be a little bit easier on the artist. So
that's kind of what Matt's talking about too, where you've got these small little, where it's concentrated this person for X number, and then,
Well, I was even thinking switching, each one
each issue. So the one at the beginning of the month has got, as Batman as an example, it's got Batman, and he's chasing the Joker because there's no other Batman villains. He's chasing the Joker around or whatever, and then in the second one of the month, it's Damian running around beating somebody up or whatever, and then the next month, at the beginning of the month, it's back to Batman chasing the Joker, and then you mean that kind of a thing?
Oh, so you have like an A book, B book, flop it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Then why would they split it though? Oh, that would be maddening.
Because
now I want them to do it.
Like nothing else. And if you could put every title under Batman somehow, they're all going to sell.
I would shoot someone. No, that's not okay. That's wrong.
But it worked in Black Mirror, though. I mean.
Yeah. Oh, no argument. No argument. That worked. I thought it worked great.
One trick pony, sure. I'll give you the novelty, and it worked one time. But to do that as a model, no.
First of all.
No, you can do it if you have good enough artists. I think you can do it. The problem is if you're not going to have quality guys doing it, it's going to fail.
They would put Batman Presents in front of all of these comics if they could, so don't think they're ahead of One Trick Pony.
I commend them, and I think that's part of the reason why I have a lot of faith in this reboot, even if it's not a reboot. I don't know. But
you know what? I'm sick and tired of that. Of people being like, reboots are shit. They're the biggest sin a comic book company can make. Independent comics don't do reboots. Dude, they reboot.
That's not true.
Deal with it. Yeah, that isn't true too.
Well, and if you have any history with comics, it happens with the big two. It happens all the time. Yes. It's how they keep. It's how they keep themselves alive. Even if they don't renumber, at some point there, unless you're Dan Slott, there's a change in what's going on.
Exactly.
New creative people come in, and those new creative people, you have to do something different. You can't follow what the last person's formula is. Otherwise, you're stuck with this is a weak version of Snyder, or this is a weak version. You got to change it up.
Yeah.
Whether you like, as another Marvel example, whether you like Daredevil or not, the new Daredevil that's operating right now, I know you don't, Matt. I'm just saying though, but Soul pretty much had to come in with a completely different thing. because Wade had put his, Wade and Sammy had put their stamp on it so hard. They really had to take it someplace else. Otherwise, he was going to be pointed at and go, look, it's a watered-down version of Wade.
No, it's fine that they went somewhere else. They could have just explained how they got there with any amount of storytelling or continuity whatsoever.
You just have to have some increment of patience. But anyway, back to the DC. But back to the DC thing. I mean, I just think that's enough.
So, back to the DC thing, though. I've looked down the list, and there's a handful, but there's not that many Bat books, all things considered. Especially if you're willing to say Nightwing isn't a Batman book.
Right. So let's look at those. Let's skip the Rebirth, because basically every ongoing title just about is going to have a Rebirth special. It starts in June. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Rebirth books starting in June, and all of them match up to quite a few of the books that are being shipped twice a month. So, of the new stuff that's coming out as new number ones, starting in June, you've got Aquaman, Batman, The Flash, Green Arrow, Green Lanterns, plural, Superman, and Wonder Woman. All starting out as number one, shipping twice a month. Plus, you have Action Comics 957 and Detective Comics 934.
That's the oddball. Those are the oddballs.
Are shipping out. I'm shocked that those are going twice a month, but are all going twice. That's what's coming out in June.
No, that's not true. Because I heard on the internet that Snyder was taking Detective, and he was only going to be once a month so that he could do whatever he wanted. It was confirmed. It was confirmed.
No. Snyder's only doing one a month. But then Tynion's coming in for the B book on the other side.
Oh, there you go. So I hate to break it to you. I actually saw Scott Snyder scolding somebody as much as Scott Snyder will scold somebody today, saying, I never said I was doing Detective Comics. But somebody's like, so when you go to Detective Comics, are you doing blah, blah, blah? And he's like, I never said I was doing that. I don't know. Yeah. So those are the books that are coming out in the first, no monthly books. I mean, no, just single one-a-month books in June, it looks like. And I'm getting this off of DC's page, just so you know where I'm reading this off at.
Oh, I'm reading off the list.
So do people have an interest in any of those books? And it interesting them to buy them twice a
That's
month?
what I've been getting at, though.
Yeah.
Like, as I've been looking at this, is, okay, what creative team could get me? Let's say they can pull it off somehow, that they can do 2 a month with one creative. Is there a creative team where I could go twice a month? I mean, because you're essentially doubling. If you're already reading the book, you're doubling it to 24.
Right. Okay, so here's their side. I mean, I know people are like, holy shit, twice a month. Boy, they're sneaking in this price hike on you by, it's only $2.99, but now you're paying for it twice. So you're paying $6 for 40 pages of content versus, I don't like to do the Marvel DC thing, but the competitor, Marvel, you're either paying $4 for 22 pages or you're paying $5 for 22 pages.
Yeah.
So as far as page count goes, we're not talking quality. We have no idea what that's going to be. But page count wise, that's a bargain.
All right.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's a shit team, it's a shit team.
Right. If it's a crap book, it's twice a month crap instead of once a month crap.
It's not worth buying a bad book, but yeah, no.
I mean, it really does. I guess what it comes down to is until we know what the creative teams are and how they're going to use this twice a month, it's hard to say, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I have to admit, I started out when they first started hinting that they were going twice a month, pretty much 98% sure there's no way in hell I was picking up a twice a month book.
If you're gonna read DC, you almost have to.
Right, and this is where the love of DC comes in. That makes me a bit weak to where I don't know what I'm going to do. But it really will come down for me. Who's the creative teams in those books, and can they give me some sense of how they're going to tell the story? Because I don't think I'm going to enjoy it if it's the same story all the way along, and I'm going to get a spastic, 4 or 5 artists. Every issue is a different artist kind of a thing. And I have a sense that some of the books are going to be that way because DC just officially announced that Jim Lee, rock god of all comic book art, I guess, he is going to be part of the art team for the Suicide Squad. Along with, 4 other artists? 4 other, I think is what they said. They didn't name the other artists, but he will cycle along with them. So that pretty much you can guarantee, folks, that every time it comes up to him, that issue's going to be late, right?
I just thought of a worse possibility that we didn't even think about. What if it's several artists on each comic, and the style changes within the comic itself?
That'd be a nightmare.
From page, I would love the trade waves.
Happens a lot of them.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah.
I don't know how it wouldn't with some of these.
And here's the other negative side of this that I'm seeing is right off the foot they're shooting themselves in the foot right off the. Anyways, so they're doing the rebirth specials, which would be a good way to dip in and try to like suss out what you want. But then that same month, they're also hitting you with the first issue.
Well, hell, I would bet unless the first week all those rebirth issues comes out, you'd almost think that some of those are going to come after the first issue. You're going to get Wonder Woman #1, week 1. Week 2, you're going to get Wonder Woman Rebirth, and then in week 3 or 4, you're going to get Wonder Woman issue #2.
Which it means inevitably these rebirth issues aren't rebirth issues. They're #1, and then all these #1s are #2s.
You would assume.
Yeah.
Which is
I know for a fact I'm getting the whatever 70, 80, whatever hell page it is, the DC Rebirth thing. I'm getting that for $2.99. To me, that's a no-brainer to see what Jeff Johns is going to... Because basically Jeff Johns is pitching whatever the new universe, whatever the hell it's going to be. It's basically him doing that with... I think there's 3 or 4 artists on the book.
It's going to be the biggest comic for months, and it's $2.99. Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Well, I guess the only problem I had with that is when they were showing us online the little teasers for a bunch of these new ones that were coming out. I'm trying to think, like when Green Arrow was getting re-released, with new people, and I mean the artwork and the story didn't have anything to do with how the new comics were going to be.
Yeah.
So that was my only issue with
Right. Well, yeah, like I said, we can speculate. I mean, so much of this, like I said, comes down to the who the creative teams are going to be at or whatever. So anyway, so then we roll into July. July, we add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more rebirth issues.
Mm-hmm.
Batgirl, the Birds of Prey, Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, Hellblazer, Justice League, Nightwing, Red Hood, and the Outlaws. All get a rebirth issue in July. Also in July, shipping twice a month is Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, Justice League, and Nightwing. All are going twice a month. Also in July, going once a month, is Batgirl and the Birds of Prey, Hellblazer, Red Hood and the Outlaws, the Superman, and Titans.
I'll check out Titans for sure, Batgirl for sure, Batgirl and Birds of Prey for sure.
See, that one hurts me. That one hurts me a lot. Batgirl and the Birds of Prey, like bad band leader. I don't.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, it's basically going on her book right now. Anyway.
Well, my issue is that when you go back and look at the history of Birds of Prey, right? Barbara's never been the leader, except for when she was Oracle. Right? Anybody else who's played Batgirl has not been that, and she had a different personality than she has now as Batgirl. I think it's interesting. Why isn't Batgirl twice a month?
Oh God!
Probably because she's in Batgirl and Batgirl Birds of Prey. So
you think so? Because whether we like Batgirl or not, Batgirl is kind of a darling kind of a book with a lot of people. Yeah. So it surprised me to see that it wasn't twice a month. But I guess that makes a certain amount of sense if she's spread across 2 books instead. I have to admit, because of the price point, I'm way more willing to try out, potentially, depending on who's on it, like Red Hood again, some of that stuff, because the price point is decent.
Also, as far as titling goes, Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, Yeah. That
so
one.
You're French.
That.
Yeah, I so whatever. It doesn't interest me at all. I'm not a Hal Jordan fan, so. But yeah, why name it that way? Is the name Hal Jordan that well known? My kids, I say Hal Jordan, and my 15-year-old goes, "Who?" The white Green Lantern. Oh, okay. Because
Oh,
they're
really?
They're John Stewart.
John Stewart.
They're all John Stewart.
I thought it'd be Kyle.
No, they're all John Stewart.
Oh, okay. Is it because of the cartoon?
Because the cartoon.
Yeah.
'Cause
Oh,
that
okay.
was their introduction to the Justice League. The cartoon between Justice League and Static Shock, because he shows up in Static Shock cartoon also.
Because that was the thing in the '90s. Like
Yeah.
everyone was like, "Who's Hal Jordan?" Because Kyle was the.
Oh. See, I wasn't reading comics then though.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So and then it doesn't have any more announcements except for fall. So we get two in summer, and then we don't get anything else new until fall, whatever fall is. And fall we get another what looks like almost 10 rebirth issues: Batman Beyond, Blue Beetle, Cyborg, Deathstroke, Earth 2, Suicide Squad, Supergirl, About Damn Time, Teen Titans, and Trinity. Then in the fall, we get Cyborg, Deathstroke, Harley Quinn. Interesting, Harley Quinn didn't get a rebirth book. Harley Quinn, Justice League of America, and Suicide Squad all go twice a month. Cyborg, Deathstroke, Harley Quinn, Justice League, and Suicide Squad twice a month.
Justice League America, not
America. I'm sorry.
It was earlier. Just
Right.
to
Right, sure. So they're
Just
going back
because
to
they
trying
do.
to run two Justice League teams, which
Is it
I don't know.
Supergirl or Superwoman?
it's Supergirl. Supergirl
It's a-
Rebirth.
CBR fucked up. It's a Superwoman.
Well, it'll say Superwoman later on. Okay, so monthly shipping in fall. Monthly is Batman Beyond, Blue Beetle, Earth 2, Gotham Academy next semester, Supergirl, Superwoman, Super Sons, Teen Titans, and Trinity.
This is some of the interesting ones to me,
What
Blue
the
Beetle
hell
for
is
sure.
Super Sons?
right? It's like they're trying to branch off of the whole Superman franchise more now, because that feels like the most unnecessary book.
What do
of
you?
this entire
Okay, so
lineup.
what do you think Superwoman is going to be? I think there's the most. I think you could speculate all kinds of stuff about the Superwoman thing, just because. So is
Kraken.
Superwoman? Is it Power Girl renamed?
Oh.
You know, Carrie. Is it Earth
Villain?
whatever version of an adult version of Supergirl? Is it Lois Lane?
Ooh.
Not with superpowers, but just holding the moniker of being the Superwoman in the modern age. I doubt it's that one. That one intrigues me the most, but I doubt it's that. That's way too feminist, right?
It's the YouTube girl that's famous.
Yeah. So yeah, you know, I mean, that's interesting. I'll get the Trinity one. I can't imagine not getting Trinity one. It's $2.99. It's once a month. A book that's got Superman, you know, Batman, and Wonder Woman in it. Unless it's got horrible people on it, I think I'll get that just because of the.
And Supergirl's once a month, so why not?
And I'll try Blue Beetle because I like Blue Beetle.
Yeah.
I hope it's Jaime Reyes. So
The question is, which Blue Beetle? That's a big.
they go
it's
back
long.
to Ted Kord. That would be really weird. I mean, I know there are a lot of Ted Kord fans, but Ted Kord is old.
Who was the first one though?
Oh,
Grant.
he's in.
Grant.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it goes back to him, that'd be great.
I like the way he looked though. I thought he was cool. I love that blue costume with the red gloves and the kind of like I don't know diver goggle, you know, eyeball covering things. Everybody's thinking, what the hell are they talking about? Yeah.
And you just
College
mentioned
comics.
all these different comics and then in the fall, but you know, reading the end of Poison Ivy, this is what I was looking forward to, and this
Yeah.
is nowhere even to be mentioned.
Well, you're going to get a few. That's just kind of a few issues to touch on some of those Legends of DC characters and whatnot, just to kind of wet your whistle on some other things. And probably the cynical side of that is they're probably putting those out again just to make sure they confirm to hang on to copyrights. Every once in a while, you
Okay.
put out a thing, so you make sure you keep your Metalman, you make
All
sure
right.
you keep your, you know,
But
Metamorpho.
I think there's something to be said too that this entire rebirth is supposed to be more in line with the continuity of the TV and the movies. That's kind of a big part of the reason why they're doing it. And they don't have a Legends of Tomorrow book. That seems like a huge oversight.
Well, I don't know that it's not lock and step with the media, but it's supposed to make sure there's books there. But Jeff Johns makes it very clear. He says we're not writing our books we're not writing books based on television. If something cool happens in television and people like it, they may incorporate it into the comic book. but the comic book really is where everything's generated from. So they're going to keep doing comic books the way comic books are done, and not sweat movies, TV, or whatever. But clearly they're going to have a. But you're right.
Yeah.
You're right, Matt. The fact is, why don't they have a? Why don't they have a book that matches up to that somehow?
I mean, and as usually against, as much as I am against the whole like movies influencing as much as they are right now or any of that, if they have a Legends of Tomorrow show, they should have a comic with the characters, and if that's as much of the connection as there is, that's fine, but it seems bizarre that they wouldn't capitalize on that.
Not only that, but like in the video game series, like the Arkham and all that, people have been
Yeah.
loving those, and the people that don't even play the games are reading those and saying they're good.
Yeah.
So why not?
Same with Injustice.
I haven't really looked through this to kind of match up with what's gone and not around anymore as far as the books that are coming out right now. Does this feel more limited?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Also, no Justice Society. It's Earth 2. That's worrisome.
Yeah, which to me is lame. Earth 2 is a lame name for a book.
Yeah. And then I'm kind of surprised Cyborg's getting twice monthly.
Is that because he's going to be a part of the Justice League movie? Is that kind of the idea? Is they want to kind of build him up?
Maybe. I'm not against there being a Cyborg comic. You figured they'd hedge their bets a little on that one.
No.
So they announced all this stuff. What didn't they announce that you were hoping was going to come out of this?
Rebels.
Doom Patrol.
I love Rebels.
No
Patrol-
Animal Man, no Swamp Thing.
Well, no, see, that's the difference. New 52 took risks. I don't see anything in this list that's a
Outsiders.
risk.
Yeah.
There's nothing in this list that's risky, in my opinion. It's all Trinity based, really, or Justice League based.
Yeah, and then the Justice League 3001, I guess I was upset that was. I know the sales were down, but I was kind of hoping it would go longer. But
yeah, I was hoping that maybe this would be.
business perspective, this actually where maybe it might be, if you're looking at it for the positive, this might actually be good for DC, is that you're strictly focusing on books that can sell, so you can kind of, not gonna say they're in the basement, but if you're just for right now, even for the near term, focus on the stuff you know is gonna sell.
Sure, I guess if you're gonna do that, you might as well just get rid of everything except for Batman books then too. We don't need to be creative or take any kind of risk. I mean, to me, there's something. I mean, play it safe and be dead. I mean, from a business person standpoint, in my opinion, of course, I'm not running DC, but play it safe and be dead. Is how it feels to me like.
Well,
You put something out there that's completely different, and then I'm interested. You just put out Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Justice League book. I've read a lot of those. I don't know, not to say that I'm not interested, but at the same time, I'm not excited either.
Matt,
Well, if you look at it too, if you just sit there and you focus on it, like I said, you narrow down the scope, you focus on it, on your small amount of books, even though you might double ship, you get quality team members on there, and you get a good product. And that's fine. I'd rather have 30 good products versus 52,
Sure.
where those other 22 are kind of just because you want to be whatever.
But Matt put it to me on Twitter a while ago.
Mhm.
I don't remember what we were talking about. He's like, but they've trained their audience to buy one character and one character only, so they can't take those risks. It was something that I don't remember if you remember that conversation, but it was kind of along those lines, and he's dead
It couldn't have
on.
been Matt that said that. That sounds smart. No, just kidding.
Maybe it was me, and I had my hair.
The worst part is, I had that exact thought, Travis.
No, I forgot. It was a private conversation. It wasn't a. But it was.
But to a sense, you're right. It's like I'm not faulty one way or the other. We get in the habit of this is my character, and I buy my character, and that's what I buy, and they just keep focusing in on that.
I'd say a few things to them playing it safe, because A, we don't know what they're doing creative-wise, as in the actual creators on this book, so there may be some actual big jumps there. There may not be, but I'm holding out hope for some of that, especially on the more fringe books right now. But also, they're doing a big push with this many double shipping monthly, and also keep in mind, Vertigo's having the renaissance right now.
Yeah.
they're coming back. So they are being risky. It's just on the imprint.
It's different. Right, you're right. The risk, you're 100% right. The risk is, the fact is that 65% of their titles are going to double ship. Wow.
Yeah. And so I'm thinking maybe if they can spend, half a year, focus on what they know, as it were, and then expand out after that, it may be worth it in the end. I'm just trying to think as positive as I can right now.
Well, right, and I think this is just... I am by no means being doom and gloom over what they've got going. Like, a lot of people on the internet, that's a fashionable thing, so clearly I'm not fashionable to burn this down. I think there's lots of positive. Like I said, if the stories are good, to me the double shipping isn't that big of a deal. Because there's not as for me right now, there's not as many comics listed there that I think I'm going to get 20 titles from DC right now. I just don't think I'm going to do that. Like in the past I may have. When the 52 was first started out and running, I got a little over half of them. Because there was just a lot of stuff to try that was different from each other.
And I enjoyed those fringe titles a lot more than the main ones, to be blatantly honest. I enjoyed Animal Man and Resurrection Man and Justice League Dark when it was decent.
Yeah. So like I said, so for me the double ship isn't so backbreaking. It sucks if you're on a limited budget. Batman was your book, and you were squeaking by getting Batman and Detective. Now it just doubled. The amount of books you're getting now just doubled if you want to keep getting your collection. That's rough.
I'd argue, though, with the way Batman jumps up to $6 a month if it's $2.99, you might be ahead most months.
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
They were doing that with Zero Year, weren't they? Weren't they going to go to like $4.99 and Snyder had to fight it?
They did 3 issues, something, a chunk of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not looking at anything negatively. I was hoping we would see some odd books, and I don't know that any of these seem really odd to me. The closest thing to odd is the Suicide Squad, but that's not really odd because they have a movie coming out.
Super Sun sounds pretty odd, I gotta say.
It'd be great if it has nothing to do with Superman, though.
It's like We Are Robin, but Superman.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? You're joking, but would you be shocked?
No, that would be cool. I'd love that book if that was. If that's what they're doing.
There's some stuff I'm kind of surprised they didn't bring back, because they kind of mentioned the whole legacy thing and blah blah blah. There's no Legion.
No.
I know that book was so rough when it came out, the 2 times they tried squeaking it out since the New 52. But don't get a dinosaur writing the book to start out with, and that might help. It just...
Was he writing both? Because they had 2 at the same time.
Well, they had the Lost Legion.
The
Lost Legion, which was just... That's the one I tried, and it was just awful. I can't remember who was on it.
I didn't read either. So.
And then the Levitz, he's writing like it's back in the old days, and it's not the old days anymore. So,
do we feel that with this rebirth happening so soon after DCU, have they established in their minds that DCU did not work?
No. They're using some of DCU. They just know that they need to continue to shift to something else. I don't really feel like DCU was an actual movement. It was a sales pitch they were using to put out some new books, but it wasn't like they changed everything. It was like, okay, we got these new books. Let's put a catchphrase to it. DCU was the catchphrase that went along with it, kind of thing. So I think they're just going to start using everything. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping we're going to continue down the road, because the New 52. There was a mandate. Every X number of pages had to have an action shot on it. You had to have... I'm serious. That's no joke. They had a formula, and every writer had to stick to this formula. You couldn't deviate outside of that. Otherwise, the editors whipped you back into shape, and everything was the same. It was all very cookie cutter. We're slowly crawling away from that. Hopefully that means we'll... if we get 10 issues of Trinity where the 3 set around a coffee table... and bullshit about stuff, I'm all over it, because it's so going to be different than everything else that's out there. So that would be great.
So I
But-
just realized no Batwoman. I guess
Yeah.
it's no shock. But
Yeah, unfortunate.
also, I'm really, really happy and hopeful that Green Arrow can come back into its own. That's the
Just
one
give
character.
the guy a beard.
That's right.
Yeah!
Just
Give him
Rebirth
give
the
him 10
beard.
years. Give him 10 years worth of wisdom, or 10 years worth of experience, more experience. Throw the facial hair back on the guy. Over.
I read a book called Green Arrow's Beard at this point. You know, that would be the good secondary title.
That guy could make videos on YouTube. Oh wait, no. But no, they completely changed that character, and that was a risk. To be fair, with New
Yeah.
52,
They wrecked
it
it.
didn't
Changed
work.
him 4 times.
Yeah,
As a new reader, I did like the Sorrentino Lemire run. So
Sure.
Yeah, that was awesome, man.
Yeah.
It's fun.
the weapons and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, that was a take that I could go with as a long-term Green Arrow fan, just because they were legitimately. I don't know. It's kind of interesting to give him kind of a foci. So he really wasn't just Batman with arrows. You know, it kind of
Yeah.
moved him into his own category a little more, which was cool.
It made it a martial arts comic, which was
And
awesome.
I don't think this is it. I don't think this is it. I think this is what we're going to get for the short term of the rebirth. March at WonderCon is when they will announce the creators on these books. So I'm sure we're all going to come back. We'll have a conversation in March about who's on these books. Are we excited, or do we think they've really screwed up with this stuff? Because we'll start seeing solicitations next month too. I mean, that's why we're going to get the announcements in March, because by then we'll be into the first month of June as far as the solicitations that come out. So they'll have to have talked about it.
I mean, there's some that I know for a fact I'm not going to pick up just because I don't like the character, what have you.
Sure.
But the creative teams could be a completely, change my mind on what books I'm picking up. So I'm not really cementing anything right now.
What are you not picking up?
The Flash, for sure.
Okay.
Hal Jordan, the Green Lanterns. I don't care.
Are those bi-monthly?
Okay, no, yeah, those
Yeah.
are twice a month. I take it back. I would even get the Hal Jordan if like J.H. Williams III was doing the art and he could actually keep up.
That would be awesome.
Then I admit I'm a whore for him, so I would get up.
No,
I
I'm
just
a
wouldn't
fan.
read any of it.
I'm a fan of the Lanterns, but the New 52 really pissed me off with it. So I've been it's just been a sour taste in my mouth because you couldn't read. If I wanted to just read Red Lanterns, that was impossible.
I won't pick
Yeah.
up Aquaman. It doesn't matter who's on it.
Really?
Depends on who's on it.
I will, and I sincerely doubt I'm going to pick up Nightwing.
Oh, I really, really hope Batman Beyond's Terry McGinnis. That's
Yeah, right. No,
The
no,
comic that-
Real,
no.
the real.
Tim.
I love Tim Drake, but no. Batman Beyond is Terry McGinnis. I need my Spider-Man in the DC universe. That's just
You got Nightwing, then. There you go. You got
Spider-Man.
Why are they sticking with? If they're going to have him go back to being Nightwing, why are they sticking with the red? Why don't they just go back to the blue?
He should have a new costume. What if the machine doesn't work?
Give him
Like-
a collar.
Like, what if there's like 5 or 6 guys? They're like, "What's everyone talking about? That's Dick Grayson. We were there." Like they're in a cave when that
Right.
machine goes
They were
off.
wearing their tinfoil hats.
Yeah.
And so
No.
the
Nightwing should be all
microwaves in the
black.
satellite didn't cook their memory.
Yeah, there's like, what's everyone talking about? That's Dick Grayson.
Nightwing should be white,
All black.
all black.
He's the knight.
I think he should dress like a Kryptonian because he named himself after a Kryptonian character, right?
How do Kryptonians dress? That's a little racist.
Don't know.
He can't.
It's-
First of all, he
it's
can't
species,
appropriate.
not racist.
He can't appropriate from Krypton.
Oh,
That's
good
effed up.
point. Good point.
now I
That's
wonder,
messed up.
now that we're saying this, there's supposed to be that Krypton TV show maybe coming out. If that's why they're going to start pushing all these Superman stuff in the fall.
I don't
I
know.
didn't hear about that.
I don't. You know, I kind of have doubts that show's ever going to get made.
Yeah.
To be blatantly honest,
It's-
it was announced a long time ago.
And it's kind of way out there. I mean, the concept of that is,
Somebody save me.
yeah.
Now I have spin doctors in my head, you jerk.
So,
It's weird though because didn't Grayson sell pretty well?
I thought it was.
Mhm.
I thought it was, but I don't know.
I'm kind of shocked that they're reneging on that one because, yeah, Grayson was pretty hot. Like, that was a pretty hot book. A lot of people are really digging that.
I almost think if they wanted to have a Nightwing, they could have had someone else take the mantle.
Ooh, who would be Nightwing?
Tim.
No.
Why not?
No.
Why not? He
Tim
can't,
is
he
Robin.
can't
That's
be
the
his
other
own.
thing.
He can't be his own character. He has to be everybody else's character.
Actually, I was thinking Harper Row, but
Yes, that's
Harper Row is Bluebird. Why the hell would she be Nightwing?
why not?
Bluebird's a dumb name.
It is.
She's
She
gonna
is
be on-
essentially
she's gonna be on the bird.
essentially Nightwing, though. Look, if you think
she'll-
about it.
Okay, let's talk about that for a second, just because we're just all being all hypothetical anyway. So who's on Batgirl and the Birds of Prey?
Obviously.
Okay, you have to have Black Canary. I imagine Huntress is coming back onto that.
I hope so.
And then you have her, and then that's all you need, because that's the three characters that made it.
No, you're gonna get
Spoilers
Bluebird on
down
there.
there.
You're gonna get Spoiler on it. Maybe we'll even get Cassandra Cain on it.
Don't
Which-
get my hopes up like that. That's not cool.
Then they can put Manhunter there too. Let's see what else can they put. in.
Manhunter. No. No, you can't have Manhunter. Nobody knows who Manhunter is anymore.
I don't care. I know who she is, and that's all that matters. They
Okay.
make comics for me, not for you, for me.
Oh, we're talking what we want or what
Yeah.
we think.
What we want.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
Those are different things.
Oh, okay. Well, I actually joking aside, I do think that they'll throw like Harper Row and Spoiler in them, and if they don't, they've screwed up. I think if they don't throw them in, because you have all these
Row on Birds
with
of
the-
Prey.
because with the exception of Black Canary and Huntress, all the rest of those girls are all relatively about the same age, aren't they? So that just makes a logical choice of people who would group together to do something, I guess.
Except don't they hate each other?
Who?
Cassandra and
Harper?
Harper, yeah.
Right now, yeah.
I don't know. Do they?
Just right now, that was just recent. Yeah.
Well, in Eternal right now, Harper's kind of had this huge revelation. I don't know how much Luke's revealed, but and so Cassandra and her rightfully aren't
At
doing
each other's
too well.
throats, huh? Okay.
Okay, okay,
No,
Luke.
she killed her parents.
Luke, what's
Barred up.
your dream Batman team for this next Batman book? Since we know it's not going to be Snyder and Capullo, presumably.
Team. Oh boy. I would love to see Jacques back on Batman. I would, but I don't think it'll never happen.
This is what you want, not what's going to happen.
Who would I want? Who would I want writing Batman? It definitely has Jacques on art and oh boy, bringing back an old one. I don't know. King, if it is, that's a good choice. I mean, I don't know. To be perfectly honest.
I'm just going to limit you to people who are alive. How about that?
Limit. Okay. I'm thinking.
Alan Moore.
Alan Moore.
And we'll learn why being Batman sucks because it doesn't go towards this certain cause that he likes.
I would love to see Rucka come back. Rucka and
Ooh,
Jacques.
yeah.
That would be a
Okay.
team, man.
Fuck.
Rucka and Jock.
That's
Well, see,
exactly
to me,
what I was
to
gonna
me
say
that's
for
like
Reiner.
to me that's the dream detective team. You get Rutger writing it,
Mm-hmm.
and then like Jock and Frank Avella doing art, swapping back and forth, and so you get a Batman issue, then you get a Gordon issue, then you get a Batman issue,
Oh.
then you get a Gordon issue, and I'm collecting that into the thousands.
Yeah.
So, my dream Superman book is Grant Morrison writing it, but this time he projects himself fully into Superman, so it's just Grant Morrison in a Superman outfit, and then Lex Luthor is depicted as Alan Moore, and it's really this eternal struggle over the whole Miracle Man thing.
Okay,
Just
I'd read
depicted
that.
in comic books.
I'd read that in 2 seconds. That is one of those rivalries that I absolutely love. Is those
Yeah.
two?
Okay, so if we talk this out so we can move on to...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have a clock where I'm setting at, so I have no idea what time it is, but... So,
20
anyway,
minutes
so
after
I
that
look
one.
forward to March. I look forward to seeing who's actually on these books and
Yeah.
starting to make some sort of an real informed opinion about what I think I
There'll-
might get or not get.
There'll be some things we'll completely flip on. You'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm sure I'm inevitably going to end up picking up one of these twice a month books, even though I said I wasn't gonna get them. So
Yeah.
let's roll on to Marvel.
Marble.
Marvel, not Marble.
Marble.
What did we read? What do we want to talk about?
I
Thor.
got Trice the Marbles. Oh,
Okay.
not that one.
The Mighty Thor, is that what it is?
The mighty Thor. Yeah.
The mighty Thor.
She's fallen.
Yeah. As she falls through the ground, Molinar speeding past her. She, understands that she is Thor. She, takes back up that strengthened mantle because she's in this constant battle of the Dark Elves are just storming through one realm after another, and she is defending the last Elven realm, and it's just, I always hype up the artwork. The storyline is just going smooth from issue to issue, and it just peaks with her understanding that she cannot do some things to stop these wars, that there are some battles that are bigger than her, and the next part she has to shuttle off and find out that Odin is challenging the All-Mother in trial and is getting ready to sentence her, so she has to battle Odin.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Those last few pages are awesome. And what I've liked about this, even though I kind of liked it in the last run, is that Odin's son is not really even in this at all much.
Yeah.
And, it's just her. She's kind of figured it out to a degree on this. Like in the last run, she was still trying to figure it out. This, she's kind of accepted her lot, and she's willing to fight Odin. And it's going to be an awesome next issue.
Yeah, just the great battles that we see,
that looks awesome.
whether if it's the big challenge or hitting him so hard that she tilts the page. It's just,
Nice.
like we said, we've been arguing that out. And I remember CDC and me discussing this on, what's going to happen with this book. Does, Jane Foster have to go to the Mighty Thor? Will there be an Odin's Son book? I'm glad to see that. They know they don't need the Odin's Son to sell it. I mean,
Yeah.
Jason Moore has created a super strong, intelligent character with her.
It's cool because it removed a lot of the things I was having a problem with the Thor book maybe a few years ago. I liked when Sif was on Journey. Like, I thought that was great. But it took away a lot of the wooden characteristics of Thor. She's a person, but she's also Thor. It's just really well done, and it balances that well. The art is just amazing in it. And it's probably one of the few fantasy comics I'm actually really enjoying that I'm reading right now.
I do think that her character is so established now, too, that she is also well written in other books.
Yeah.
Whether if it's the Avengers or that, it's, I think, been accepted and is going well.
I'm reading that Avengers book, and I would say she's one of the few characters that's actually well-rounded. Miss Marvel's kind of being criminally misrepresented in that book, in my opinion.
In what book?
In the Avengers book she's in. I'm
Oh,
reading
is
that.
Okay, I'm not reading that.
It's just, she's a kid in it, like just a one-dimensional kid in it, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah.
Versus
that's too bad.
the nuance that's in her actual comic.
Right.
God, there's some of these I could just roast, but I just want to talk good about comics tonight.
Let's talk a new book. Anybody pick up Power Man and Iron
Oh, yeah.
Fist?
I have it. Haven't read it yet, but feel free to spoil because it's awesome. I've heard nothing but good about it.
This thing is flippity-dippity.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that. That's so awesome. So one of the things in here is Power Man, of course, he swears, but he has a kid, and his kid, of course, if you've had small children and you swear at all, they, of course, the worst words they learn to pick up on are all the F-bombs that you might say and whatnot. So Jessica Jones informs him that he needs to stop swearing, so he starts using nursery rhymes for swear words. So now, even when he's out in the field, he'll be like, I don't know.
It's like,
That's-
this is flippity dippity.
Yeah, that's whack stack patty whack, kind of thing. It's just hilarious. I don't know. That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
So I haven't read them as a team, Power Man, Iron Fist, but this is basically it. They're not a team. They're getting back together for one reason, to pick up their secretary. She got put in prison for murder. I don't know.
I got on Heroes for Hire during the reign with when all the ladies were running the Heroes for Hire, so I missed out on this, but I got them as a great deal in the Avengers, so I didn't know the backstory either.
Yeah. So anyway, they're there to meet her when she gets out of prison. They both feel bad. Mostly, Iron Fist feels bad for the fact that they couldn't get her out sooner. So they get her out. They take her to a restaurant, because she's been in prison for 5 years or whatever the heck it is, and she just wants. There's some family heirloom that's been taken, and she just wants help getting it back. Well, lo and behold, the family heirloom is held by Tombstone. So they show up to Tombstone's place and quietly, and nicely ask for it back, and it turns into a big, giant, crazy brawl. The whole time, Power Man is on the phone with Jessica, and Jessica's going, "I thought you weren't getting back together with him," and he keeps saying, "We're not back together. We are not a team. It's just this one thing." And of course, the whole time, off to the side, Iron Fist is like, "Yeah, we're getting the team back together," kind of a thing. So I mean, it's kind of a the fairly odd couple, the odd couple kind of a deal going on in the way their personalities are and how they work with each other. It was a fun issue. I mean, I think there's lots of potential for it to be all kinds of craziness and fun.
And I mean, the artwork in it, I mean, it's nice that it's a little more freestyle or independent kind of style. It's not, the house that we usually see work, so I guess I appreciated it for that too.
Yeah, and solid colorist with Blue Ridge on there. That kind of, I don't know. He's not one of those colorists to me. It just feels like, unless somebody forces a weird palette on him, he just does a good job of keeping everything really, really cohesive and cool. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. There's stuff about it I don't know because I just don't know this. I just don't know this slice of the Marvel universe. But
Did you read Fraction's Iron Fist run?
yes, love that.
Yeah.
His and Drew Baker.
Yeah.
Yeah, love that. So I'm a big fan of that character. I mean, basically, I read that, got super excited about it, and then everything Iron Fist has been in since then, I've kind of picked up and at least tried. I didn't like the Iron Fist single, thing that was out a while ago. His single book, I didn't care for that much. But I like the character, so I'm curious to see what with him and whatnot. So, no, it's cool. And this Power Man is in no way a reflection of what the Power Man that they've introduced in Luke Cage, that they've introduced in the Netflix series Jessica Jones.
Oh.
Nothing alike. So there's no fear of that kind of a thing bleeding into the comic. I don't, at least not at this
haven't
point.
watched that. Is it good?
I liked it. I really liked it.
Okay, I'll give it a watch. I've been. I'm not going to say what I've been watching on Netflix, but it's just other things.
Come over. I'll braid your hair. We'll pop some popcorn.
Speaking of good comics,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. This is probably my favorite comic of the week.
this is so awesome.
So good.
It's so cool. I was surprised how much I liked it. Like I would tell anyone that didn't hop on this because she was pregnant. First of all, you're dumb. Second of all, you missed out on a great comic.
Yeah. I will. I mean, every month this comes out and I'm on the show, I talk about the fact that, I don't very often chastise people about their comic book choices and be serious. I'm actually serious in the fact that if you were reading this before the pregnancy thing and you were enjoying it and you stepped off of it because she's pregnant, huge mistake.
This right here.
It's just got nothing but better. Oh yeah,
This action sequence is awesome.
Oh my, yeah, the layouts in this are incredible. There's some amazing pages. Like, look at that. Like, the curve and all that. Like, I know it's a simple change, but it adds so much.
Yeah. So, anyway, in this issue, she has her baby. She has her baby. She has a baby boy. Sweetest looking little baby. Of course, they draw it perfectly. The facial expressions that go along with "here's the baby" are just so perfect. I mean, not many of you are fathers, to the best of my knowledge, but for those of us who are, it was perfect. It matched up to the stuff so much. You're right, though. So she has this baby. By C-section, they zip her back up so she can go and kick the hell out of an army's worth of scrolls, which she does. And this 2-page spread is just bonkers of her. All the way she's going to holy hell, blasting them.
She
I love
bites
the fact
one.
bites one on the ear. She's chewing on its ear as she's shooting a whole bunch of other people and shocking some others. I love the crazy kind of, I don't know, is it Kirby-esque, the crazy designed bright
Very
neon
much.
costumes that the
Very
scroll are wearing. I don't know. I love how brilliant and bright that is too. But this page I thought was awesome. I mean, granted, there's no actual panel, but clearly you can see the panel. There's the baby, the loving, warming smile, the kiss, the goo goo goo, and then okay, I'm gonna go kick some people's ass. I don't know. Absolutely loved it. It's completely tickled. I love the conversation at the very end between her and Carol finally gets there, and the whole oh, the kid's gonna live a normal life. It's all gonna be okay.
No.
They both look at each other and laugh their asses off because there's no way in hell the kid's gonna live a normal life.
Which was good because you could have seen that as like the climax of all this. Oh, she's had the kid. She's had the
Right.
kid now. Yeah. And it's like, well, no, this is only the beginning.
Right.
It's just gonna get
Right.
harder from here.
I mean, God knows what's gonna happen with the whole Spider-Woman crossover thing we're gonna have for a couple issues. I don't know. Any of you guys getting this? Are you gonna pick up those issues to see that whole thing?
What else is tied into it?
Spider-Gwen and Silk. We're gonna get 2 issues in each.
Silk.
We're gonna get 2 issues. We're gonna get 2 issues in each. So there's like a Spider-Woman Alpha, and then there's gonna be 2 issues of Spider-Woman, 2 issues of Silk, and 2 issues of Gwen, I think. And then I think there's an issue at the very end of it. Now I read the letters page in this. I'm hoping that the way that letters page is written, that doesn't mean that these guys are going to be off the book. I know that that the Spider-Woman, the next 2 issues, the issues that tie into this event, are going to be drawn by Jolene Jones, who did Lady Killer and whatnot. So that'll be completely different, I would guess. But I'm hoping that means that Rodriguez is coming back to do the book after the event's over with, because these guys. Both the creators are new fathers. They just both of them just had kids. So.
Oh wow.
So I'm sure this storyline works really well for them because I mean they're kind of holding down crazy careers, like Spider-Woman is, and now have babies. So.
Well, and they had this beautiful 4-panel moment in here where she's like, "Is the baby okay?" And they played the suspense.
Yeah.
For just a second, which I feel they almost had to. And then, yeah, the baby's fine. I was like, oh, good.
Yeah,
like, I was
thank God.
actually excited that it wasn't some
mutant or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, did you expect the baby to come out and us to go, oh, well, now we know who the father is?
A
Right?
little.
You have a whatever tattoo on it that let you know who's... Or it comes out green like a scroll.
3 popped claws.
Which that would have been nuts. If it would have come out looking like a scroll, with the whole thing, all of her involvement with scrolls and stuff, that would have been crazy. But... And so it doesn't bother you, Matt, that you haven't been told that part of the story about her as to how she ended up... Well, clearly we know how she's pregnant, but I mean, who she's pregnant with? 'Cause they don't tell you that. That's 8-month jump with no story.
I'm worried that if they don't pay it off soon, there's going to be too much buildup. No matter what they do, it's not going to pay off.
I just don't think I don't think it's ever going to be told, and I'm perfectly fine with that.
I prefer that. I wouldn't mind that.
Dad was just somebody. It doesn't matter.
I know you're taking me at the Daredevil, but that's a completely different thing.
I know. I just give you a hard time.
No, I know.
But yeah, I mean, I mean, part of me's curious to know, but I almost don't want that storyline. Oh no, the dad's gonna get visitation. I mean, I really, I don't know.
You don't want them to go on Maury, really?
No, I don't want them to go on Maury.
Oh, okay.
She's there on Maury, and Bruce Banner's sitting there, and let's see what other random person can we pick that'd be there that just be totally crazy.
Now that you say that,
Ben Grimm, and who else?
come on, a Mojoverse like 3-issue arc dealing with that whole thing.
It'd be
That would
funny.
be perfect.
It would be funny.
You are not the father, and to see Ben doing a dance just on the street.
It's Peter Parker.
Oh, and then through alimony, he's broke again and interested
right.
again.
Maybe he should go back to being.
He's immune to alimony now. Have you seen the
Speaking
new
of
comic?
which- Speaking of which, let's talk Spider-Man. What is this? Is this issue number 2.578 or something?
No, it's issue 8.
Oh.
No, weirdly, it's 008. I'm like, if you're just going to be relaunching this often, maybe leave it at double digits.
Oh, 8. Okay.
So, Luke, you're reading this, right?
Yes.
What are your thoughts?
I'm gonna let you put a positive spin on it. So.
You're not getting that. You're not getting that.
So, no. So they made Spider-Man Iron Man. He's gone international. This issue is primarily in China. You wouldn't know it.
Nope.
It doesn't feel like it. They're trying to play this international angle, but they're not paying off on it in any way. And what's doubly weird about that is they're trying to do this whole new thing. But if you hadn't read, this is paying off stuff that happened 4 years ago, I want to say. Like somewhere damn near 5 years ago is some of the stuff that they're paying off from Dan Slott's initial take from when he fully got the reins on. No, even before
That would have been 10 years ago. Slott's been on the book for 10 years.
Yeah, but some of that wasn't officially his. But this is playing off that era. If you hadn't read that, some of this is like they explain it away so it'd be fine, but it'd feel kind of cheap. It's I don't know who this comic's for really, except for me, so I'm okay with it. But I just it's so weird to see that they're paying off things that are so old, and they're finally going back to Mr. Negative after years of ignoring the character. Now I don't know if people know who he is. Like, he's been ignored for years now.
I briefly got excited. You said he was going international. I thought we were going to get Italian Spider-Man.
I would read that and
I'd
pick it up.
Bam!
Puncha. Anyway.
Italian Spider-Man was in Spider-Verse, so they already had that.
Nice.
Remember last week when I was kind of saying people bash Batman just to do it? Well,
Sure.
This is where I'm gonna kind of put a objective spin on this. You do get, I think, Peter. I think you're a little bit, he's at least acting like Peter a little bit better in this issue, so I will give it that. But here's the problem, I think, with the series. And it kind of has been going in the past couple issues. They have a really good idea where they start reviewing all these other villains. Toward the end of the stories, they're hitting that Doc Ock coming back. And then you don't hear anything about it. You go back to this, and it's like, well, what happened to all the good stuff in your peak read? You had 3 or 4 issues. I think it was 3 or 4 issues. At the very end, you got someone talking to one of the old villains. So you're thinking it's like a Sinister Six type thing going on. And then they totally it goes away. Mr. Negative was done a lot better in was it the last point issue they had before they did the whole Secret Wars thing? Matt, am I right?
You might be honestly try to keep this all straight. I can't anymore with point issues and
Yes, before the Secret Wars thing. I think it was that last backup story. He was good there, but then when what's his name? Oh God, Ironhead broke out of jail. Either way, the story it shows how much good it was, because I really don't know, but I can't remember. But it was Mr. Negative actually wasn't done that bad here. He's totally different here, totally different. The girl that's driving the car, apparently that was his girlfriend. Shit, I didn't know.
You wouldn't unless you've been reading for 10 years.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. Then they make like a huge jump about her relationship with her mother and wanting to kill Spider-Man. I was reading, I was like, what the hell? Where's this coming from? It's just like somewhat. I mean, lately the book structurally just has some issues.
Well, and here's the biggest problem. Here's how I've been summing it up. This is a straight, like, Iron Man superhero comic. It's no longer the soap drama, but when they're playing on the strings of the old soap drama, it feels completely out of place. And so now you're getting these echoes of a completely different formatted comic with a completely different mission statement versus what it is now. And now you have Peter Parker. Like, they're trying to throw in the Parker luck. I think it was last issue where he spilled some coffee on his shirt, so he had to put in, like, 8 ties or something. But he's still going up and announcing, like, the next iPhone like he's Steve Jobs or something. Like, it doesn't work.
Ugh.
Yeah, so I hope Marvel gets a reboot and Spider-Man gets rebooted and we get back to where we need to be.
But this is the reboot. This is
Yeah,
the
no.
relaunch.
Are you reading Invincible?
We're 8 issues in. We're due for another one, apparently.
Oh.
Are you reading Invincible Iron Man?
No.
Yeah, it sounds like this is a role reversal. It
Yeah,
really
where he's
does.
saving Mary Jane. Oh my...
Well, no,
I punched a wall.
he's not doing well monetarily, and he's kind of been humbled and all that. And it's like, I'd rather have that be Peter. Like that's not, like, the downfall of what you're telling me sounds more interesting than the actual story. Like, him losing it all would be interesting. I mean, it'd be kind of hacky storytelling wise, but it'd be interesting.
It's
Just him
gonna
losing-
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they could have done some cool things with Cloak and Dagger, and I just thought this kind of just got glanced over.
Whoa. Cool things with Cloak and Dagger. You're past me now. I don't understand that.
I like those characters. They just never do anything decent with them, really. Or I like the
Never.
idea of the characters, I guess.
The coolest thing they were in was Maximum Carnage. That's all I...
Yeah, they were awesome in that.
Didn't Regent make an appearance last issue? Yeah, he
Yeah, they've
did.
been in it. They've been the henches for Mr. Negative this time, basically, but which was kind of an interesting parallel that they didn't really play up correctly, because he's trying to shill this kind of like drug deal, and they kind of got started on drugs gone bad, but they had this whole anti-drug message, and they never really played on that. So I felt like there was this huge lost opportunity, especially because they're in China. They could have talked about some narcotics issue, because that would be, you know, ever timely. But oh well.
Okay. Any other Marvel books we want to talk about?
I
anyone
know
else got
you
one
and I
first?
picked up one.
What's that?
I know you and I pick up one of the same.
Yeah, Canny Inhumans?
Yes, sir.
I like the cover.
I do.
Does this thing feel like it completely shifted gears?
Yeah.
Like it slipped into neutral and we don't know what's happening?
I didn't really understand the point of this issue at all.
Okay, thank you. I'm glad it wasn't just me. I mean, up until this, it's been really tense. I mean, granted, the last issue we kind of dealt with this, you know, this massive thing of Medusa and Black Bolt's son, kind of, you know, running through time and all that kind of stuff. And I thought that ended really coolly. You know, the way he dealt with stuff in that last issue. And then this issue, it's like Black Bolt's opened up a bar. It's kind of a neutral place that everybody can go to, and
Yeah, I mean that's playing off of the Secret Wars tie-in, because he kind of had that in the Secret Wars tie-in.
oh, okay, didn't know that.
But it just felt weird because I'm reading both Inhumans books.
Oh, okay.
This felt like the action-oriented one, where that was the more politic. The other all new Inhumans is more the politics of what's going on with the Inhumans in this new setup.
Okay.
So I liked this one better because it was more of the action adventure, them kind of doing their thing,
Right.
them essentially being the X-Men. Let's just call it what it is.
Right, sure.
And this just felt like this was more of an all-new Inhumans issue than an Uncanny.
I didn't enjoy. I mean, not the people who are normally on art, so the art wasn't as good inside.
Yeah.
And all new story. The Quiet Room starts now. So if we're gonna get a bunch more of this, I don't need to keep getting it. I mean, this. I mean, it wasn't awful, but it doesn't interest me either. And
No.
at $4, I don't I'm not going to set on a book like this for very long. I don't think, just because I just was whatever. I think that Black Bolt looks ridiculous walking around with that silly crown of his, too. Just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole thing with the tuning fork on his head and stuff looks all fine when he's wearing his costume. When he's wearing a bad haircut and has that thing, I don't know. Yeah.
I'll give it a couple more. If it's just like this, then I'm done. But
You know what this felt like now I'm thinking about it? This felt like, because it had some of the same characters in it, this felt like that Wolverine's weekly comic that I pulled teeth reading for a couple months.
wow.
And Soul was one of the people who was writing that. You know, you get that character with the fox that just comes in and can steal whatever really easily, and it causes chaos. And I don't know. I was not impressed.
I didn't think the tie-in was even that good. So it was weird that they're kind of hinting back at that because he owns a club type situation. He talks in that too. That's it.
Oh.
So yeah, I don't know why they went that direction.
I mean, I like the very last panel where he starts to smirk, because anytime Black Bolt smiles, I'm curious, because it doesn't strike me as somebody who smiles very often. So, but yeah.
I want to see them kind of go out on more adventures. I want to see Beast and Human
Right.
Torch and all them involved still, which they weren't in this at all. So
Yeah, it was not interesting. That's it for my Marvel books. What else you guys got?
I have more, but I don't need to.
No one picked up Deadpool and Cable split second, but me.
It was sold out, but I wouldn't have picked it up anyway. That's the truth.
Oh my god! This is so good, and it's over.
Oh my god, how did I miss it? Oh.
Come on, Cable and Deadpool is some of the best stuff they printed. Oh my gosh. This is Nikeza going nuts with the Cable lore and like throwing Deadpool in it and just wrapping things up and giving Cable a new status quo. I guess setting it up for the whatever Avengers book he's in that other guy's reading. But this is just good quality fun, man. I don't know. I can't even talk about it. I just liked it. I don't know.
See, Fred Bruschi's my new favorite person. He's in the comments, and he says he's dropping 95% of his Deadpool stack. So does that mean you're just going into the store and pulling out like the middle page out of the comic and just buying it?
So there's this.
That's about as much as I can read.
Spider-Man, and then you can forget the rest. So.
Okay. Nice.
I'm almost tempted to read that Gail Simone run because you always talk about how good it is, but I'm almost worried that I'll hate it.
Go watch the video.
I'll still think this character's a dick and not very funny.
Go watch the video and then watch Gail Simone's comments about her video that got posted.
Actually,
really?
You know, if you want to, I can send you the trade. Yeah.
That's a read. I bought that for you, you jerk.
That is my biggest fear.
I'm just passing the love on, man. I'm just passing the love on.
Oh my god.
So yeah, night before last, was it night before last? Tuesday night? Tuesday night. I think it was
there,
yeah, a couple days ago, at any rate. Stacy, well, some people know her on here as Stacy Poole. She's changed her handle, but at the time she was Stacy Poole. Suddenly we show up in a chat, and she's chatting with Gail. Gail, almost a year ago now, I think, Matt hosted a hangout, and Stacy and Matt threw the love of Deadpool down of that video, and I spent 2.5 or 3 hours basically saying how much I hated the book. Is what it really came down to. And so she somehow it came up in Gail Simone's feed. She's got I guess a YouTube channel, and it just popped up in her feed, and so she watched it, and I guess Stacy's like, oh yeah, these are the other guys that are in it, and she's like, oh, Matt's a really big Deadpool fan, and she's like, oh, so he's the one that's not annoying, so I'm annoying, and she kind of laughed about it a little bit. She's like, yeah, I kept yelling at the screen, plot points, every time that other guy kept saying stuff he didn't like, So now I have to go back and watch the video because I'm not sure exactly what it was I was bitching about. It was a plot point as opposed to.
You didn't like the comic. I think you were following it. Mostly you didn't like the art, though, is what I remember.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing. It was so hard for me to get around the art, to be quite honest with it, to really get into the story. It's just so not my style of art that was the biggest struggle with it.
Yeah.
There were things about the story that were okay, and there were things about the story that I didn't like. But.
On my old channel, she came across one of my videos, but I was praising her comic, so I felt fine with that. I was like, all right.
My only saving grace was Stacy, who is actually chats with Gail somewhat regularly, saved me by saying, well, Travis is a hardcore Secret Six fan, so that kind of saved me. But I'm used to annoying Gail anyway. I irritated her a couple years ago at Emerald City Comic Con, and is when they announced that she was going to be doing Red Sonja, and I walked up to her and said, "Explain to me why in the world I would want to read Red Sonja." And it kind of put her off. She still talked to me, and the next day I was getting Welcome to Megatropolis signed and stuff from her. And I was just commenting about different stuff, and she goes, "Oh yeah, yesterday this guy came up to me and he questioned why he should be reading Red Sonja," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, that was me." So
I wouldn't have been like that. I'd be like, "What a dick."
Yeah, I know. So it's nothing new, me irritating her, I guess. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Gail is great. There's stuff of hers I really love. We'll be talking of a book here in a little bit of hers that I really love. But then but I guess it's come down to now for me this: either I like her stuff or I don't, and what I don't like, I really don't like. But that's pretty funny. So go check out Hits Match channel. Start looking for Deadpool stuff. Check out that chat. It's entertaining.
That's hilarious.
You can watch me be a dick about a book the entire time, and them love it.
That is the biggest fear, is when you don't like something and they somehow come across it, and you're like, "Oh no, I don't. I like you as a person. It's just."
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that's something I never think about, because I never worry about a creator stumbling across one of my videos with 100 views or whatever. Like, why would they be one of them? And then every once in a blue moon it happens.
Well, so here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. You just need to, when you're talking about books in general, in my opinion, you just make sure you're talking about the piece of work, not the person that's involved. It's unfortunate that some people think that I hated Spider-Man. Spider-Man is awful. Dan Slott is such a dick for writing Spider-Man this way. No, that should never be how the criticism is. I mean, because he seems like a nice guy as a whole, other than he's really quick to ban you if you bitch about him on Twitter. But but you just have to keep the criticism about the work that's in front of you, not the person. I mean, unless the person does clearly do something that you think is dickish, then I guess be my guess. But don't make the review about the book about the person.
Yeah.
But some people can't do that, and of course some creators are. I don't know how they survive in the social media. Some of them do have awfully thin skin. When you poke fun at something you don't like of theirs. But at any rate, and I'm being told once again that I should read Red Sonja. So I probably should.
Snyder actively watches YouTube videos. I know that for a fact.
Oh, I know.
So.
Well, I was doing a podcast, and it's not a really big podcast, with my friend Eric from Longbox Review.
Yeah.
And at the time, Eric had a call-in. You could call in and leave a voice message. And Eric was really worried about what Scott Snyder was going to be doing. That he wasn't going to be able to pull something out or whatever. Scott calls him up on the phone to go, "Hey, don't worry, Eric. This is my plan." And he was really cool. It was really cool, about how he did it. But it was really shocking that this kind of, this podcast that maybe has, 60 people listening to it at the time, suddenly had Snyder calling up and saying, "Oh, hey, don't worry about it. It's gonna be okay." And I think that was either Quarter Owls or Death of the Family or something. I don't know. It was early on. It was early on in the run, not later in the run.
Little did we know. Anyway.
So that's it for Marvel books.
Yeah.
Okay, any Marvel news that we think we need to talk about?
They're not rebooting. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, so
a very narrow reboot. Spider-Man was
Focus.
yes.
I was just surprised that I feel that the new standoff event that they're doing appears to me to be the big jumping off point for the Thunderbolts, maybe, is what
It is.
And I like the Thunderbolts, but I was really surprised that they put this piece in just for that, so.
Well, like,
Thunderbolts?
at the end of the issue, not that I have this comic, but Barron's. So you know that it's going to be, because he was always a part of that team.
Yeah.
I didn't know Thunderbolts was still running. It's back up and running.
No, it's
gonna come
done,
out.
but they're going to kick it off here.
Okay.
That's done, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, they're bringing back the whole band together, basically
So-
all the originals, with Bucky leading them.
Oh, right. So it's really Suicide Squad back when Flag was running the show,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you, CDC, don't want to talk about, but you actually have the so it wasn't good?
No, it was good. It's just, I don't know if there's anything I
So-
really need to say about it.
Oh, okay. So is it just kind of, as we were talking off air when we first jumped on here, I don't know if you were around when we were talking about it, is it just kind of a fluff piece leading up to Civil War?
Seems that way, but it could go in. I could see it going in a different direction.
Yeah.
Is the thing. Like, don't get me wrong, comic books tend to always
Yeah.
disappoint, but
Right.
I could see this going in an interesting direction.
So, does it look like it's going to really mess up Captain America and Captain America?
Yeah.
Awesome. That excites me a lot. Okay, I'll get off those books now then. Okay. Right on.
You're
Okay,
not
so
going to be picking up the new one when it comes out there? Steve Rogers is back, you know?
yeah, I don't have any interest in that. Well, I guess if he's going to be an old man, maybe I do.
He gets his AARP card and all that. That'd be kind of cool.
Well, he's way past that, isn't he? He's
Yeah,
like 75 or something, right?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so no real Marvel news, so
No.
I guess let's roll on to some independent books.
Okay.
What are we going to talk about independent-wise?
Hey!
Oh. Okay. I laughed my ass off in this issue.
Yeah. I want to learn how to do that. Just kidding. Anyone that's reading that. I'm too old for that. This issue was hilarious.
Yeah.
I could not stop laughing.
For mature readers only, duh.
Yeah, if you
Keep
have
this out of
any,
the hands of baby terrorists. Trump 2016. Just saying it there.
yeah, if you're puritanical at all, don't touch this. But it's hilarious.
Oh God.
Did I teleport? No, you just fell.
So there's all kinds of stuff here that we can like kind of marginally talk around. The guy slipping the community flyer into the newspapers, for instance. Oh my God. Oh, hey. Now I can't see the word "hey" and not see that picture. Oh,
Dude, that takes some skill, man.
hey. No doubt. I'd be afraid of cutting something.
Yeah.
There's manscaping and then there's manscaping.
Yeah. Like,
I
he's
thought
got
there-
words.
Okay, so here's the thing. There's some just funny parts in here that are just hilariously funny. And then there's always this stuff that just makes this comic so damn poignant or feel so real. I mean, the whole ridiculous... So Susie's trying to put together something that God knows what is, a bookshelf, or I don't even have a clue. You know, and John comes in, he's kind of joking. You know, what are you doing? Not that I don't mind you that position, because, you know, she's basically on her hands and knees. You know, joking with her. And he takes over, and he's being the man with the screwdriver, you know, flexing his muscles, using a tool. That whole, you know, her kind of, I kind of like that. I don't know, the way it's written, it's so well done, and the facial expressions and stuff.
I had never thought about it, but this is a modern romance comic.
Mhm.
And it's not done in the traditional narrative of romance comics, but that's what this is. And a genre that's completely, you know, missing almost now. I heard that one Hellcat comic was kind of one, but I haven't read it, so I don't know.
Yeah, it is in ways, yeah.
But that's what this is. And it's hilarious. It has great storytelling, and I'm glad I you know, there was never any point where I didn't think to stick with it.
Yeah. So Christina has put in the comments, sex criminals, period. So meta, ... tongue out face. So I don't know if that's a bad thing. I loved it. this whole
Yeah.
phone call conversation. Oh shit! Here's this whole thing I don't want to deal with. I mean, maybe it's a cheap writer trick because he sincerely didn't want to deal with this whole fight between Susie and the porn goddess. But I don't know. I still loved it. I loved it because the final page of it is so masturbatory. I mean, just them being just over the top. That
Dude, I
don't
didn't
know.
even realize that had a back to it. Like, that's a full-on seat.
yeah.
He has a... that's
Wearing, he is wearing a seat. Yes, he is actually wearing the back strapped to his back.
Like, that would be kind of comfortable.
Only if he didn't squirm a whole bunch.
Yes.
And I love the way this ends. Have you ever been in this situation where somebody's talking to you and you've zoned out because you're paying attention to something else completely different, and your mind is just going. I mean, she's talking to her best friend at the end of this, and the best friend is talking to her about all this important stuff about her relationship, how it's not working with her boyfriend and whatnot. And Susie's mind has wandered off. She's watching a guy behind him, and then she's suddenly realizing, oh shit, I'm not listening to a thing she's saying. So there's the word bubble of her talking. You can kind of see her script behind it, and pasted over the top of that is Susie's thought bubble inside of it of her going, oh my god, I don't know what she's saying here. I think I should be nodding yes. Oh no, maybe I should be going no. Oh, it looks like she's closing up. Oh, okay, yeah, sure. I'm such an awful friend. She's thinking as she's, I don't know. It's just got a lot of stuff in it that rings so true, and yeah, it goes into the ridiculous at times.
There's stylization to it, but there's experiences in there that are so relatable.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah, it just, and hopefully it gets back on track to being a little regular. We're on issue 14, and I'm still so happy with it. I mean, just about the time I would think there's just no way this can keep going.
That's the one thing that this has done is defy things, because this could have easily been a 6-issue comic, but it's kind of reinvented itself from arc to arc to not completely brand new, but kind of reinvented aspects of it from arc to arc that's made it kind of fresh.
Sure.
Because
you got a couple things that are happening that keep the book moving forward, as far as there's a group of people that are out to screw with them, and they've discovered this stuff, and they're going to do this, but then you get all this other trappings of society, the way people look at things, the way couples operate, the way these individuals operate. You definitely get an injection of both of these writers' personality at points in the book. It just has a lot of great stuff in it.
I was thinking, if you read the first issue and then you read this, I almost wonder if you'd think this is 2 different comics other than the art. Like, it just...
Well, I know some people got worried. I mean, I did. When we read those first issues, and it's this great kind of coming-of-age thing about Susie and whatnot, and I'm just going, oh my god, this is so awesome to see this stuff in a comic book. This is great. Then we suddenly get into the John part of it and the cum world part of it, and it suddenly starts feeling really juvenile. I'm like, oh, are we going down the lane of this just being, funny for a while, but now it's been 13 too long, and it's not funny anymore? And then it swerves back away from that enough to keep it from not feeling too much that, like I always say, I don't always read all the letters pages, because sometimes the letter pages get a little off the... I mean, not that any of the talk in there bothers me. It just sometimes it gets so juvenile that, I mean, my humor in that direction only goes so far before after a while I go, okay, you can only say the dick joke so many times, then it's not funny anymore. So
yeah, it's like the plane's about to crash and then it pulls up just at the right moment with that stuff. Because I mean, there's a couple issues ago, this got that monster thing. I mean,
oh yeah, the anime, hentai tentacle. Whew. Yeah, that was extreme.
I'm surprised Matt's not. Are you reading this, Matt?
In trade.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
No, really. That's not like in trade. No, I pick up in trade.
I was just saying, I thought you would kind of get a kick out of this.
I love it. It's a great book. It's just I pick up my Image in trade now. It's just
okay.
Life's easier.
Yeah.
Well. Oh wait, what else? What else do we get? Anybody?
Clean room?
Clean room? Want to talk clean room?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, what we can talk about it.
What a trippy comic.
This is a Gail Simone book I'm really enjoying.
Just that guy that's like,
Yeah.
in his head.
Yeah.
And it's one of these things too, where it's like I couldn't describe it because I'm getting enough to keep reading it. I understand enough, but I don't understand enough that I can explain it to somebody else.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because we haven't been given the whole picture.
Yeah.
I mean, so we know there's this either cult, whatever Mrs. Mueller is running, somewhat cultish, somewhat thuggish, criminal empire. She clearly has a hard-on to go after demons of some sort or whatever they are, kind of a thing. That's what she's all about. She's building this empire just to deal with that. Is what the impression I'm getting out of it. So you get this whole aspect that's more of the kind of once you're one of us, you can't not be one of us. This actor who's killed himself. They have to do that whole cover up, so you get this whole situation. I think it's really curious. Some of these books, in the last 3 or 4 months, the nudity level in my comic books has risen dramatically. Just saying, I'm not complaining about it. It just seems really odd. They're just like it's all of a sudden, hey, you know what? We're writing a mature comic book. Why don't we put genitals in it? I mean, I don't know. So it seems really strange, and so we get a hot tubbing scene here that they pull no punches with and whatnot, and it just seems
hairy, but it's all good.
Sure. Well, different strokes for different folks, It just to me it's just surprising. This, like I said, it seems like all of a sudden,
And that she picks her people for their weaknesses, not their
Right.
strengths. So
Right,
that
yeah.
she always seems to have a control factor on them, or or that they have. It almost summons the demons to them too. It appears so.
Right.
Because they even mention it like, you brought us here. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's just some crazy twisted up stuff in this and whatnot, but I'm like I said, I'm really enjoying this. I mean, I'm curious to see where it's all going to go. What's Mueller really up to? What's the end game? I mean, is it her versus this group of, I don't know, demons or whatever you want to call them? Of course, you got our other character Chloe, who's dealing with like a suicide demon that can't quite pull the trigger, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
The demon can't commit to pushing you to go all the way to do it.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Well, that it recently had been kicked out of a little girl, and so he's like, I can't do anything. But then, but the surgeon, I wonder if the surgeon's the one that already visited her house and beat up the guys and is coming back now. So.
Oh right, yeah, that's gonna be crazy. What happens there, right?
Yeah.
And I love the Jenny Frisian covers.
Oh yes, yeah.
I kind of wish that the logo wasn't this big giant round thing, though.
It looks like a sticker.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it looks like a sticker. But I mean, if it was like this, it would only take up like a little small. It feels like this takes up a quarter of the comic book, as opposed to like an eighth of the comic or something.
Artwork, yeah.
As a collector of vinyl, it just reminds me of that constantly.
Sure.
Like,
you're right, and it does. But weird that it would be on this kind of a book, because this book doesn't have anything to do with anything remotely close to that sort of a thing. But I'm still really enjoying it.
Do you think it also needed the recommendation from the lady from Monsters on top?
I don't think that hurts. That little band up there doesn't bother me, because I almost don't notice it. Splash down here somewhere, trailing off the sides. That's kind of not fun.
Yeah.
But it looks like all of the Vertigo books have started doing that.
Yeah.
Oh, I take it back. I take it back. One of the Vertigo books I have this time doesn't do that, but most of the rest of them. So.
The little sticker-looking thing always reminds me of the Secret Six when Luke asked us, did somebody put a sticker on yours where it was everybody having sex on the couch?
The sensor, the sensor button there. Yeah. Well. What else? Matt, did you get any independent books?
Not
you
this
get them all
week.
at trade. You get them all at trade. Okay. You're not getting the Gail Simone book?
No, not till it's in trade.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a Vertigo book. That's not Image. You said Image.
I don't buy all her books.
Oh.
It's not like it.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, are you? Yeah, I bet you she doesn't. Otherwise, he'd be annoying too.
Yeah.
Are you getting her the newest editions of the Welcome to Metropolis in singles?
Oh, Mega. No,
Whatever
I
it's
don't
called?
plan on getting that in trade either. I'm
Yeah, okay.
pretty done with that.
Okay, so we're on the same page with that. Okay, cool. We won't talk about that here then, because then we will be annoying and we'll have lots of plot
Then
point issues.
she'll watch it.
And we'll be annoying and have lots of plot point issues. Yes. So what else? What's right? Luke, what'd you get?
I'm gonna
You
top
had to-
start.
So your shop had it. Good.
Yes. No.
I
No.
was waiting for the
nuclear explosion.
fabled tweet. It's not there. So season 2, issue
Yeah.
number 6.
It seems like they're gonna take this into a little different direction than it was.
Well, you know, because originally the book started out and it felt like to some degree he was like making a proclamation. It was going to be him against the 1%. So clearly that he's decided that isn't working. So now he's going to embrace the 99% and elevate them. That's going to be his new goal.
I didn't see the twist with the wife coming, to be perfectly frank.
Yeah, that's interesting too. Where he's trying to really turn over this new leaf by not being.
The one thing I did need. When did she stab him?
Last issue.
Was it? Oh man, it's been that long. I totally forgot all
Yeah,
about that.
it's been quite a while. But yeah, don't you remember she rushed us onto the set and actually stabbed him on set?
Oh yeah. Okay.
She's there with he's there with the daughter, and she finally realizes what's going on, and and she rushes to the place and
Okay, I thought it was some time jump thing that I totally missed or something. Okay, all right. Yeah, I do like where they're gonna go with this now, where basically the daughter's gonna do the
daughter's doing
game.
the fame, doing the game show, doing the same thing, and he has bought up a very unsuccessful chicken shack. And him and the other cook that's been in it are going to attempt to elevate into something special. I'm really curious to see where it goes. I mean, the only thing I had a problem with, and I'm always intrigued by, Dangel Zedjil, the artist. I'm always intrigued by his art, but I know it's definitely an acquired kind of a taste for the style that he uses. But it had been long enough since I've read it, that it took me a little bit to recognize the faces again. Oh, okay, that's Gavin. That's Gavin's wife. That's Gavin's daughter. That's the Romo guy. It took a bit to remember who everybody was again, because it's so dark like this that visually sometimes until you get into it to remember who those people were. I'm still really intrigued by the book. I'm definitely curious to see where it goes and what becomes of it now. They continue to play the foodie thing too. I mean, if you're into food, the food is in here. They talk about how to take care of red crabs the right way. Only sadistic bastards throw them live into a boiling pot. And they throw a recipe out there, kind of. You mix all this stuff together. I mean, food's not my thing, but it's intriguing as far as that kind of stuff goes too. So, yeah.
I enjoyed the first part through. They're on the seas, and guys like puking off the side. And he's lighting
just end me.
Drinking.
Just throw me over. just end me right now. Just throw me over. Yeah. No, seriously, do it. Yeah. Right on. Anybody pick up Snowfall?
No, I got enough.
And no doubt, huh? So, number 1 issue, written by Joe Harris, art by Martin Morazzo. I believe these are both the creators who were on the Pacific book about Joe Pacific, or whatever the heck it was called, with the guy that's living on the island of junk in the Pacific Ocean that went, I don't know, a couple of years, something like that.
Great.
What?
Great Pacific, wasn't it?
Great Pacific, yeah, I think that's what it was called, right? Yeah. So, what our general premise is, this is set in 2045. Basically, climate is completely out of control. Droughts to the extreme, whatnot. A corporation has basically taken over the United States government, so it's actually a corporate of America as opposed to United States of America, a cooperative of America, or something like that is what it's called. There's little settlement camps that most people live inside these areas that are kind of a controlled environment versus the outside world, which is dry, dusty as all heck. What'd you think, Mike?
There were notes that I really did like on it, like the professor being almost cyborg-like, or having some eye implant so he could scan, register what's going on with the kids. How it started out was such a pop on, somebody has this power of snow, I thought was also very good. So, I mean, there were definitely a lot of notes I liked on it, but in general, I thought it was nice, but I don't feel that I will be picking it up from now.
First off, I want to correct Mr. DaCosta, Johnny DaCosta in there. I did not tell you to buy Snowfall. I said I was buying it. You asked me what new books were coming out that were independent, and I said I was buying this. I did not say buy this. Just to clarify that, the person in the comments. And the reason I say that was because, as a whole, I thought this was really boring and not all that exciting.
Yeah, so it's like Great Pacific.
Yeah, I mean, well, I heard that some people really like that, so I was kind of curious to give this a shot. Because they kind of build this as being, using weather as a weapon. I'm like, oh, okay, that might be interesting. And there's a guy in here who's a mythical guy called the White Wizard who can make it snow. They haven't seen snow in 10, 20 years. And he's burying people in snow. Yeah, right.
I know that guy. He's in Colorado. He sells cocaine.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there were parts of it that were somewhat intriguing. There's some political stuff that goes on, but at the end of it, where a young kid is hunting down this guy who's this great climate-controlled guy, because he's bought in. He thinks this guy is like a revolutionary kind of a dude. He totally agrees with him. The corporation are feeding us, misinformation and keeping us, slaves to the corporation. I'm going to go hang out with this guy. Well, this guy isn't exactly the noble thing that this kid thinks he is. The kid seems to have planted a bomb at his university before he left, which blows up. That freaks out the weather wizard guy because he's like, no, that's not my style. That's not my thing. I want to just make chaos by making it snow or making it rain to let people know that the corporations are screwing us, not to actually hurt people. And by the end of this, the one thing that was interesting was the news broadcast is broadcasting this terrorist acts have done, and they show these kids dead. And there were no kids dead, not children, but they show those kids under the snow busted up and dead. So clearly, the corporate government is willing to do whatever they need to do to spin this thing in their direction to make these people who are trying to cause a problem.
So it sounds like if you wanted to read a good version of this, just read Lazarus.
Yes. Yeah, like I said, this is sci-fi light. It's dark future light. It's just not. It didn't really, to me, it didn't have any real. Wasn't awful, but it didn't have anything to really make me go, oh yeah, that's gonna be cool, or that's gonna be a. It didn't have enough in anything to make me want to keep reading it.
Well, I noticed that you're not even really describing the characters. You're more describing the events.
Because there is no characterization.
Yeah, that's immediately. Oh, thank you.
I mean, the kid, the college guy is the closest. He knows it's like the 10th anniversary of this guy making it snow, and he's running around too.
I mean, and it was double sized for the initial price.
Sure.
So I was tempted by it, but like you said, it wasn't hooking. So.
Right. Right. I mean, like I said, I was interested in it. I wanted to give it a try, but it definitely didn't. And there's not enough there to make me curious, because I don't think I don't have to have the first issue like blow my mind. There just has to be something there for me to go, oh yeah, I can get behind that. And it just had weak elements of other books that I enjoyed, and I don't need that. So I guess. And I'm sorry, John, that I wrecked your joke. Somehow I wrecked his joke.
I feel his pain.
Yeah. Okay. I'm a bad straight guy, I guess.
Did you read Birthright?
Yes, I did.
That I actually kind of got not like full blown emotional, but the brother kind of saying, "I wish he never came back."
Yeah.
Like that bothered me.
Right?
Yeah.
Some people aren't so high on this book anymore. I mean, it's not. I still really enjoy it. I think the artwork in this book is so solid. It's so rich.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it. Yeah, that whole fight between the two brothers, pushing him around. And I kept waiting for Mike to just, backhand him completely down the alley or something, at some point. But yeah, that was cutting it to the wick, right?
Yeah, that bothered me.
Yeah, you're so screwed up. I wish you would never come back. It's like, oh wow. And I like the wizard, the mage woman in this.
Yeah.
Because the last mage we got, we've been kind of being, along the way, we've been kind of given this bill of goods that Mikey's hauling around this evil thing inside of him, this nightmare. These mages are all actually good people. This woman's kind of a bitch. I mean, she's come to Earth to make lots of money because she can use magic, not to help anybody, for the greater good. And she left these people in the middle of a war back in Telios, or whatever the place is called, because she wasn't making any money. Screw that. I'm not going to fight no rebellion. I don't make any money.
It's been morally ambiguous, where usually these kind of stories are clearly good side, clearly bad side.
The white side and the dark side, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's been the pull for it for me, is kind of really good characters, really flushed out characters, and amazing art. I think that's been what attracted me to it.
Yeah. Now, like I said, I'm still really enjoying the book. Next issue is the end of the next arc. I'm looking forward to seeing what that's going to be. Supposed to be some big reveal, supposedly, in that. Yeah. What's that, Mike?
Pacing-wise, when I read the trades, it feels like it was really meant for trade. But issue to issue, you feel that it works out really well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, every issue has something. Not maybe lots of things happen, but something happens in every issue to make it feels like it moves and feels like something important went on in it. I mean, like in this one, the brothers, get into a fight and say some pretty harsh things at each other and whatnot. It feels pretty significant.
If you've ever had a sibling, you think when you're like, okay, when we're grown-ups, that childhood relationship is gone, but you get around them, and it's just that same level of you fighting on that same thing. And and I think that's why that was so compelling to me. It was like, yep, that's exactly what it's like. It doesn't matter how grown up one of you is, you go right back to those childhood roles.
Yeah, and it was cool. I really liked it. Best sci-fi book I read this week, I think. To me, this really felt. This is Bitch Planet, issue number 7. This is President Bitch Part 1. It had all the elements to me that made it feel like you get this future. There's these politics moving in there. The whole beginning of it, where the kids are like, I don't know, they're like jumping a fence and they're cutting through this corporation place because it's going to cut like an hour off of their walk to wherever they have to go. And the security guard's got a computer. He's discussing the computer. The computer's telling him, oh, there's these 3 people that have crossed our territory. This is the laws about people who cross the territory. You can use extreme force because they're trespassing to protect your body. And these kids just get cut down. This mechanical arm pops up with a gun on it and just goes bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
And kills all 3. They're just children. They're just children cutting the corner instead of having to walk around the block. They're walking through.
What I would say about this issue, and it was kind of one of my, not necessarily why I didn't like it, but I thought this world feels too small, it's too undeveloped. This issue really builds the world for you. This Brian Dennehy guy is sitting in this thing, and he just kills these kids it's no...
Yeah, I mean, he's like the mall cop kind of a dude. I mean, he's just kind of, fat, who cares? He's like, oh, would you like to write the report after the kids have been shot dead? No, you can write it, computer. I'm gonna go to lunch, kind of thing. And it's just another thing that adds to just how effed up this society is operating under and whatnot. And to me, that's kind of that always feels like a science fiction kind of a thing. The hard of what the future might hold. I thought went well in this one.
The prison still feels like the harshest place. But it's good to know that the world around it is just as draconian.
Yeah.
That weird like dominatrix virtual reality thing was kind of interesting too in this. This is one of the first comics I read, so I'm trying to recall everything. Yeah. And then the character at the end, what's her name? Blonde-haired.
The lady who was in charge.
Yeah.
Wendy, or her name's like Wendy or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Whitney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I had to go back and read like past, because this is very sporadic and it's
it was pretty not coming out very consistent for a while there. Yeah, she's the person who's been the main person. She's the person who kind of breaks what seems to be the main character, and everything. She was on top of it all. Well, look how quickly, especially if you're a woman in this book, you can fall. So, in some ways, it's the stereotypical, prison exploitation type film type thing. The guard is now suddenly put down with the meat. Really curious to see how that plays out.
I'm really thinking that her transformation as a character is going to be really interesting, because the way they've built her up to this point, you're like, fuck her.
Yeah.
And now it's going to be...
Yeah. But she's a conniving bitch through it. I mean, she is just, no compassion, no nothing. She is just, screwing with people to, to get them where they need to be at and stuff. And to have her suddenly... I'm really curious to see how... dang it, I cannot believe I cannot remember what her name is. I hate
That's
when
exactly the problem I'm having.
Not Penny. Oh. Our lady with the afro on it. And the fact they send another woman in to break Whitney down, to basically take her place.
Yeah.
So, what the hell is her name?
Oh, John, you're reading Bitch Planet 2? Awesome. I didn't know he was reading it too.
So, I can't remember what her damn name is. Can't remember what her name is. Pisses me off. Anyway, I'm really apologize for that, but I'm looking forward to seeing what her response actually is. How does she treat this woman who has now been thrown down to their level? Does she shit on her, or does she sympathize in some way and try to have her be part of the fold while other people want to shit on her?
Because she's such a well-rounded character, you've seen compassion from her, yet you've seen her be incredibly harsh.
Right.
So it could go either way.
Right. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited to see that. I really am. I mean, I'm intrigued by the whole fathers part of this thing too. The guys that run the corporation. The fact that this one of the main characters is dead, and they're building this coliseum. The guy that's the superstar to build it is only there because his daughter's a prisoner there. She's dead. What's the hell going to end up being like and whatnot? So. I really enjoyed this issue. A lot. I'm really intrigued, especially the way it ended with this the Whitney and what that's all going to be like. I'm really fascinated to see what happens with it. Yeah. What else? Anything else? I don't want to keep talking if I'm the only person who's going to be talking.
Someone got their throat slit in Rachel Rising. We can move on.
What? So, I'm really curious, Luke. This is issue number 3 of Lucifer. What did you think of this issue?
I thought it started off. I got kind of lost a little bit. Then as it was going on, I was like, okay, I see where they're going with it. They started, especially with the thing going on. Hell, the whole thing with Eve, it just kind of threw me off.
Sure, because. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I just didn't know where they were going with it. But then when I saw them, where they started talking about the demon thing that had to only be killed by its own kind. I was like, okay,
Azrael. That was the moral there was eating all the sin. Yeah. Well, part of I think is going to be a problem. When I read this, I went, oh boy, because my 15-year-old daughter is really into Lucifer things, so she's been reading along too, and I'm worried about this issue because. We dip into Sandman lore because they go into the dreaming in this issue. So it references some stuff that if you don't have a breadth of, if you don't have an understanding of that Sandman stuff, it is kind of a what the hell's going on. And I think when she goes to read this, that's what's going to be. She's going to start reading it, and she's going to look at me and go, I don't know what's going on here, kind of a thing. To know who Matthew is, to know who, what the whole situation with Eve and Lilith.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because that is technically biblically Eve and Lilith there that they go and talk to and stuff. I mean, yes, it does get back to the whole thing where you find out that, maybe it's the sword is the weapon that was used to potentially kill, the power and maybe have stabbed Lucifer too. And so I liked it from it being told in kind of in kind of the way things get done in the realm of dream. It gets told in kind of a dream, kind of a story, kind of a way of being told. But yeah, I wondered about that. I wondered if when we went to talk about this book, if you go, I'm not sure I completely, because and I think that's what it is, because I think it's relying on you. It's relying on you having some of that knowledge. Not that you can't get through it and understand what's going on by the end of it, but it does leave you kind of going, okay, if you don't know that stuff. So.
And I love the story about the orphan going to they're doing their visiting with the
yeah. The other part of the story, the part that's not the Lucifer and Gabriel detective story. There's a jar with a demon in it, basically. Wonderful artwork of this red jar with all these mouths and eyes going all the time. That whole possession thing, and the girl that's been adopted by the kind of awful zealot family, and she's treated like a second, like a third-class citizen, basically. Them going door to door, and the door they go to happens to be that woman who's basically somewhat possessed by this jar of demons. And where the jar of demons is going now, that's all really curious. I'm curious to see how that ties into the main story.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. How is this going to tie in? It was great. I was just like,
right, because there's two different stories going on right now. You got the detective thing going on, and then you've got this, this magical object of evil.
Is this off of the TV show?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. I mean, I say detective because that's just a loose way of describing the fact that Lucifer was in LA for a while. He left LA. He was traveling to Cosmos. He gets attacked by somebody that he doesn't know, but he gets stabbed, and he's really actually genuinely wounded. I mean, bleeding out, kind of thing. He zaps himself back to LA, back to his bar. He's like wrecked, kind of a thing. Gabriel is wandering around because, of course, in the Sandman and in the Lucifer stuff, he kind of gets tricked out of his being an angel. He ends up falling in love with a mortal, and the angels go, "Screw you! If you're going to be loving on humans, we're kicking you out." So, somebody has attacked the equivalent of God, and maybe has even killed God. They're not sure. They get Gabriel because they figure, well, him not being totally angelic, he can kind of get around and poke his nose where the angels couldn't poke their nose at, and they give him hey, we'll make you angelic again. We'll elevate you again if you find out who did this. Of course, the first logical person to go to is who would screw with God? Lucifer. So he goes to LA to meet Lucifer, ends up finding out that Lucifer's been attacked also. And the two of them are kind of teaming up, using each other to try and figure out what's going on. Lucifer because he wants to know who hurt him. Gabriel because he wants to find out who attacked God so he can elevate himself to be an angel again. That's the main crux of the story. And then we've got this kind of side story of this jar o' demons that keeps kind of chattering in people's ears and making them do horrible stuff. And right now, 15-year-old girl is from Jamaica, or Haiti. It's got a hold of it and is gonna wreak havoc on her white privileged family that she's living with.
And you see some pretty gruesome stuff, like when she actually stabs herself in the neck. It's pretty. They go some weird places in this.
Yeah, well, I was just asking that because the TV show was launched right around the same time as the comic.
Yeah, and the TV show has got this kind of whiny, charming Lucifer. It's different. I'm watching it. because other people in my house like it. But,
Yeah.
you know.
Oof.
And I think, to be honest, with the first issue, my daughter picked it up just out of curiosity, and she really liked because in the first issue, there's 2 or 3 angels in it, and the angels have different wings. They don't all have just white, typical angelic wings, and one of them drops a feather. And it's like a peacock kind of a feather, and there's that whole thing. I don't know if we'll see those characters again, but that guy picks up that feather. There's this normal human picks up the feather, and it kind of sets him on a course to go do some things. So I don't know if we'll see that come back again. She was really interested in that part of it, so I don't know how long she'll keep reading it. She doesn't successfully read monthly comics very well. She likes to read in trade.
Kids.
So, I know. That's the manga thing. You can get for a couple bucks, you can get 200 or 300 pages all in one whack. Hard to compete with that. So, anything else you want to talk about?
No.
Cool. Well, we'll call it done then. I've got a few other books, but I'll talk about them on my own. Not here, since that's getting late. So, I don't know of any indie news, any random thing like that. Anybody watching, not that I want to talk about it in any kind of detail, anybody watching currently Walking Dead?
Oh, I am.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the mid-season coming back?
That kid had it coming.
Well, that happens in the comic, but that's not what pissed me off. They tease that this group's coming that we know has been coming for a long time, and then it's just
Yeah.
and it matters.
Okay, yes, but at the same time, you have to admit that was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Watching them get nuked. Oh, man.
What is it?
Yeah.
Shit? Eat? Swallow?
I'm just thinking, oh my god, this guy is a dick, and if I'm going to have to listen to him for a couple seasons saying shit like that, I am going to lose it. You know?
That was so cool, and you kind of saw it coming, but not on that level. And they really did in the writing really well, because you know that he has the rocket launcher.
Yeah.
But you didn't. I expected him to kill the guy and come out and start just firing at him, but just one go.
Right. Yeah.
And I did like how they kind of did the whole thing with the eye. I thought that was obviously you're reading
that. I would hate to be that actor though, because that means every time now you got to have that done. Where before you just got to be, But that character's been obnoxious as hell. So
yeah.
I didn't want it too much.
Yeah.
Do you think? I was reading somewhere that they are going to try and let Negan use the language he uses in the comics. I just don't see them doing it.
No. Occasionally saying shit is one thing, which they do. Past that, I know they can. I just don't believe that they will.
Yeah. Just dropping the F-bomb in every sentence. I just can't picture them.
No. He'll be walking around going, that paddle wacky.
I would love that if they went cable new, like cable movie style.
Yeah.
What kind of ice cream cone is this guy?
That would be awesome.
Shut your mother, father mouth.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yes, that would be pretty cool. That would be pretty funny. But anyway, so I just was curious if people watch that because I thought that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome episode. Well, I guess that's it then.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, you know what? I appreciate you guys coming on.
Good talk.
Especially those of you who don't come on all the time. It's really cool. Hopefully you'll come back in March when we know who's on these books, and we can retalk what we think it might be like, huh?
Yeah, it's a mandate.
Awesome. So with that, thank you all for watching. Those of you who hung out, those of you who sat here and chatted in the comments. Sorry I didn't pay super close attention to them this week, I guess. Got a little chatty and didn't pay too close attention. What was going on there. But anyway, we'll see you next week. Read some more comics and enjoy yourselves. So with that, adios.